Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Michael Huber.
Yo,
Michael Damiani.
forge ahead.
Oh, okay. I will. And my returning boosted co-moderator, Daniel Bloodworth.
I'm wearing that shirt. I remember that shirt.
Classic, oldie buddy goodie.
He's got a lot of shirts that
Praise the sun.
I'm envious of.
Forge ahead is for tonight.
Are we forging ahead? Yeah. We'll
It's
see.
part of the song, the new theme song.
We'll forge ahead when it goes live.
Hopefully those servers don't buckle.
And making it all happen in the control room, Isla Hink.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Distinguished guests, we are here to discuss Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, and some of the other biggest moments.
11.
11.
And 11 as well.
Hey, EverQuest 2 got an update.
I mean, it shows you where my head's at. I mean, I've played 2 characters in 14, but my heart will always be in Final Fantasy XI. My heart will always belong to Vanadil.
Your prime MMOing.
And, you know, some headlines. Can talk about Battlefield.
I
Can
thought
talk
you said
about.
that's your crime.
Prime, no.
I've done worse. But before that, we need to answer for all the mistakes we made last week. Some legit, chunky corrections. Begin corrections music, please, Bloodworth. Oh, no, Isla. Yeah, corrections already.
Bloodworth, you want to do it?
No, you already did it. The producer credits at the end of this episode should have been the last episode. We had an early episode, so I did the week math, but it was the week after Thursday, not Tuesday.
That's a
So
weak
we're in
ass
December
math.
now. Obviously, we got new podcast producers for this month, so shout out to everyone from last month.
How are you going to make it up to him, Jones?
I'm going to do them at the end of this month. Or at the end of this episode. I also forgot the critical 000000 on the top of the time code, which makes the time code not work.
It works in the description. It doesn't work on the timeline. Yeah.
Eager to find every tiny little thing I can do wrong in this podcast week to week. The second live-action Mortal Kombat movie was called
Annihilation.
not Armageddon. I think we were probably talking too fast, and that slipped out. Amico rhymes with amigo, not amico. Amico. It's Sam Muscovich. I said Sam Makovich. It's Muscovich. I don't know if I've ever even called him Sam. You know, some people that you know from other outlets. It's just like, hi. You know,
Hey,
like
Sam.
how many times do you actually say names out loud? PS Digital sales are still outpacing physical. The PS5 has been dominating in physical form since release in 6 European regions, not worldwide. I got GameIndustry.biz'd because that was something that they had talked about, and I thought would be an interesting conversation. I'm always curious. We get NPDs, but they're not perfect. We get numbers from some companies, but not others. And they were talking about how physical is selling more than they expected. A lot of times Game Industry Outbiz, which is based in the UK, has UK gaming news, and I dodge it. I fell hook, line, and sinker for that one. So it's mostly happening in Europe. Multiple quotes were commented by the poster. Thank you so much for that.
Do you think of Die Hard with a Vengeance every time hook, line, and sinker is said?
Hook, line, and sinker.
There it is.
It's his own. It's his own
iconic.
accent. It's his own accent.
Yeah.
The accent that he does in Dungeons and Dragons, it's his own. Like no one's ever done that accent before, never will again. And he's in the Gucci movie, right?
I think so.
RE-verse was free. I have no idea what we're talking about. RE-verse was free with RE Village. I think we said maybe that we were buying that with something, and it's like
remake.
easy to remember.
Remake 3.
Was free with Remake 3?
Resistance was already.
Resistance was
Yeah,
already 3.
Resistance.
Reverse is Village.
It's Village.
Right.
Yeah.
Last week, though, they said it was with
Yeah,
Resident
yeah,
Evil 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't have to buy anything. We're getting this.
Gotcha.
You know, it just hasn't happened yet. End corrections music, please.
Boop.
If it ever comes out.
If it ever comes out, it's going to be an interesting one. If it actually happens.
Yeah, if it happens.
We dearly love Hollywood. You have a film podcast. Isla.
True.
And I don't know if it's come up
We're
on
doing
your.
erotic films this.
Erotica.
Get those posts in. Erotica.
Auto animate, yeah. That one line just slipped. Like, did he say what I thought he said? I wish we could talk about Jurassic Park. Sadly, we're going to talk about 2 other movies right now before we get into gaming news, because we have 2 performers that are not going to be in some of their most pivotal roles of their careers. Maybe not Michael Caine coming up, but so we need to replace these with video game characters.
Okay.
There's almost always someone from Uncharted or Resident Evil. From Y2 Kyle 89, due to issues while filming Tenet, Michael Caine is no longer available to play Scrooge in A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, no.
Rude.
Thankfully, all the Muppets are still in it, but Michael Caine, we got to swap out Ebenezer Scrooge and Muppet Christmas Carol. Is that going to be Queen Braun from Final Fantasy IX? Is everyone caught up on Queen Braun from Final Fantasy IX?
No.
Thankfully, she's in the opening CG cutscene.
Oh, yeah.
She's
okay.
Garnet's ruler.
yeah,
She's
okay.
like, the festival's happening.
Yep.
She's this big crazy gal who you
Okay.
kind of think is the villain, but is
Yeah.
not even close. Nathan Drake.
What?
maybe
Scrooge?
old Nathan Drake. Yeah.
What?
I would have picked
Nathan
maybe
Drake with gray
Joel
hair?
instead of Nathan Drake
craziness.
at least.
Okay.
What about Waluigi? Pick number 3.
Oh, yeah.
my gosh.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's an easy one.
That's
Waluigi
perfection.
learning his
Yeah.
lesson for sure.
That is
Yeah.
perfection. What would be the ghosts that visit him then? Like, who would represent the ghosts of past, future, and present?
well, it'd be the same.
It'd be the
Muppets.
same people. Yeah.
Yeah.
The present was like a new
yeah.
Muppet.
Sorry,
he was like,
sorry.
come in
Yeah,
here.
that's
and
right.
So I'm
be
going
better,
wild.
man."
I'm going wild. I'm recasting the whole thing in my head now.
Well, I love the aesthetic of like humans
Build it around
build it around
Waluigi,
Waluigi.
on
We
a set with
we gotta
puppets.
retool it.
And then there's a video game character. It's like none of that makes sense. It's perfect.
Ooh,
Waluigi
but
puppet.
Marley and Marley are held down by chain chomps because they were covered in chains. That'd be great.
Yeah. You see Rizzo, like, isn't that guy who wasn't in Smash Brothers? Like,
This
shut
is
up,
the
I'm telling a
direct-
story.
The director's cut we deserve.
Yeah. And put that sad song back.
Bill
in.
Murray will voice Waluigi.
Because I couldn't help it. And it's December. Christmas is getting closer and closer. From Boone, A Christmas Story. Anyone not have purchased on A Christmas Story? 1983.
I don't really
The
like
classic
it.
Christmas film. Oh, I love it.
I haven't seen it in like
Ooh.
at least 10 years. Probably.
I know
It's
the
been a
kid.
minute.
Yeah,
It's
I
been a
haven't
minute.
watched
I
Ralph.
it.
remember
Yeah.
This
a lot.
classic
I like
film
it.
has
It's
to
fine.
replace its iconic bully, Scott Farkas.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow eyes. He had yellow eyes. Who's gone on to do a bunch of stuff. You know, he's still acting. But he's not in this movie anymore. Who's going to replace him? Wesker? Scott Farkas beating up a bunch of kids. Psycho Mantis. Or King Hippo.
Dude, Psycho Mantis.
King
let's
Hippo
go.
is real good.
King Hippo from Punch-Out.
King Hippo is good.
Pretty menacing.
Especially if we can make it, somehow get a
Wes.
child King Hippo.
A child King Hippo.
Or just King Hippo playing you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wearing all the snow gear and everything with all his.
Yeah.
Just to see what he would look like with that gear on.
Sure. Let's do that.
Yeah.
King
Yeah.
Hippo.
Make it happen.
They're so loaded with the
Terrorizing
third pick.
the kids.
They know the third pick is always going to be the best one.
Yeah.
Not always. It's not always.
We'll see.
Check the tape.
Check the tape.
I'm always surprised that you guys usually go for like reasonable ones. Like I'm always like, it'd be weird to see that guy, and you guys are always like, well, this one.
I
But
mean, it's
King
all-
Hippo. I'm proud of you. That's
Yeah.
a weird one.
They're all going to be weird. You know? It's not like Waluigi's going to go and no one's going to notice. It's not like kids are going to watch a
Yeah.
Muppet Christmas Carol and be like, that was fun. That was, that guy with the upside down L on his hat, playing Scrooge. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Made
again,
sense to
he's
me.
acting in the thing. He's not going to be dressed as himself.
We'll see.
True.
We'll see what he.
Let us
we'll,
talk
we'll-
about this.
we'll see how he is treated and treats the Muppet staff while working on that film. Huber,
Yo.
it has been a roller coaster year for the Battlefield franchise.
Roller coaster month. Jeez.
Where are you
Oh my
before
God.
we've had some new developments within Battlefield, within EA. Where are you at right now emotionally with Battlefield?
Pretty good spot, actually. Pretty good spot. All that news is good. They just had another patch, a huge patch today, and a patch like a week ago. They made a lot of good changes. They're getting into it. They're listening to the community and responding accordingly. But fundamentally, I just don't like specialists. So, like, at its core with this game, I don't like that system. I'm still not sold after tens and tens and tens of hours. I think they're not wrong when they say the potential is there for more teamwork if you really get into it with like a full-on group of 3 other people. But in terms of public matches, when 2 armies are just clashing into each other, it just feels the most isolating a Battlefield has ever felt. But now that I've adjusted kind of just where I'm at with it, I'm just enjoying it for what it is, and I'm having a good time.
Specialists bring a little bit of character to the franchise.
Yeah.
So the stories that they are, trying to tell, whether they have a single player campaign or not, are reflected in these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very Overwatch or Apex Legends kind of a direction, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. The main problem is that none of these characters have anything. There's no lore to find, really. There's like it's like the templates are there, but there's like nothing else beyond maybe a little blurb about who they are, really, and that's a huge problem. If you want your players to get attached to these people that have come in and replaced a system that works that the fans love, the class-based system.
Yeah.
You got to give us more to latch onto. Things get really sad because obviously Michael K. Williams reprises his role from Battlefield 4 as Irish, so that kind of connective tissue is really interesting. Damiani and I just watched the Exodus short film. It's about 9 minutes. It's a prologue to 2042. It's actually really cool. It's a cool little short film. But being connected to him is really cool because, you go through the whole campaign in 4 and it's freaking Michael K. Williams. He's the best, but obviously he just passed away tragically. So now kind of your main character that kind of this whole thing is revolving around, you're gonna maybe lose him or I don't know how they're going to go about that moving forward. But yeah, other than him, there's really nobody else to invest in.
There's a lot of EA's going to spend a lot of money on Battlefield. That's basically kind of the news that came out today, which is an interesting reaction following all of the, it's kind of a hyper, supercharged, hey, this not only this game is in a bad state, maybe it's time to further invest in Battlefield. But a lot of this isn't a surprise because Marcus Leto went to work there. We talked about it on the podcast. The guy who is credited for basically making Master Chief look the way Master Chief looks, giving him a lot of character, really making him a memorable character in this other franchise, which is actually, ironically doing very well. It's funny, you have people at Respawn that are now at, Battlefields. And then you have other Respawns doing some Apex with Titanfall. There's a lot of weird crossover with news
Well,
this
that's
week.
one of the big news things, too, is that Vince Zampella is now going to be sort of
very encouraging
grandfather, overseer of the franchise.
Right.
Yeah.
The most encouraging.
Respawn co-founder, overseeing the entire Battlefield franchise. And Marcus Leto specifically is building a team in Seattle to tell Battlefield stories.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if this is, are we going to go Arcane now, and Castlevania route and all that? Or are we
More
gonna
like
have
Battlefield Mobile, probably.
But are we going to have short films or a live action Netflix show? Or
I mean, it's a game development studio, so it's
a
still
single player campaign that's good.
Yeah.
Right. But that's,
but
that's the thing about all of today's news, and I don't know how much more you want to wrap up before we get into discussing it all, but I'm on this back and forth and okay, is this a reaction to, everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks? Or is this just this is the plan they were waiting to reveal? Because I can't imagine that, hiring Marcus Leto and not knowing that's what he was going to be doing.
It seems like a plan. It seems like it was the plan going ahead because season 1 hasn't even started yet. It starts early next year. The Battle Pass, all that stuff will come. And they said that
maybe it'll be part of Battle Pass stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, they said the story will continue to evolve during the seasons. So the fact that they said that weeks ago or whatever leads me to believe that this was always kind of the plan to
a lot of the extra stuff that they're talking about is 2042 based, so it's going to build on that lore.
Yeah.
As a person who doesn't like the specialists, is that problematic?
I mean, I'm attached to the playstyle and the vibe of one of them, Boris. I'm a big Boris fan.
I cut the review. I remember
a lot of Boris.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. You can do it pretty easily. I mean, you make a cool short film and have a cool character do something, and it's okay, now we have a little more. Or you have little single player stories with each of these characters. I think there are ways to do it. It's just, will they be able to? Because personally, I haven't historically liked the Battlefield campaigns. I like Bad Company 2. It's pretty fun. Even Michael K. Williams starring in Battlefield 4, I was just wasn't really invested. And then they tried to do the anthology style presentation with Battlefield 1 and 5. It was kind of different theaters of war, different characters for each campaign. So historically, the campaigns haven't been great, but
that's the
if
thing
they
that to
focus
me-
on smaller ones at a time, just we're going to focus on this one specialist and have them go through a little campaign, that could be cool.
Yeah, I think that's the thing to me is that, like you said, Battlefield has always kind of struggled with story, except for Bad Company, right? Hardline was sort of a miss. A lot of the other campaigns.
Yeah,
were
Hardline was weird.
So there's all of this stuff that it to me, when you said that they weren't going to have a campaign, it's oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm
They're going to focus on multiplayer and they're going to make that up, but it just feels like they didn't put in the feature set to really make that work. And
Totally.
and your feedback with the specialists is like,
Yeah.
so wait, are there like 40 Borises running around? Like,
Yeah,
does that
a lot
make
of
any
Borises,
sense?
a lot of
Like,
Borises. Yeah. You always see like the same like 4 specialists too, kind of everywhere. It's like everyone's the grappling hook, everyone is the wingsuit, and like everyone's the medic.
So
Like,
it just
like
it's
Forza
just
doesn't
a-
even have specialists, and you and I are the same guy, Blood. Like we're literally
well,
the same.
yeah, they have almost no options for your characters. So, but that's what I mean. Is it's sort of like when you have a series that's focused on like 32 to 64 to 128 character battles, it only makes sense to me that you would make your own character one way or another.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not to mention the gear, or like you're in vehicles half the time,
Mm-hmm.
so there's just not a lot of like, this character's coming at me. Certainly something like an Overwatch, like we were saying, like making rough comparisons, or Apex, where it's like when I see the person coming at me, that totally changes. Like, do I even want to fight this person? What defenses am I going to employ? Whereas like, aim for the head, I imagine works both in Battlefield.
Aim for that.
Yeah.
for
It
the
makes me
tracks.
wonder if Leto is working on a game, is working on a campaign, or is maybe kind of like, I know there's like some room where like 8 people talk about all of Star Wars stories, like where like 8 people are in charge of like comics and the shows, just make sure it all kind of gels together. Is that the role you think he might have now?
Yeah.
So like if they do write a show or something, like he'll kind of have a hand in all of it, just making sure it all makes sense.
Yeah, because that prologue short film is like 9 minutes, high budget, so I can imagine them doing more of those, in addition to even bigger budget stuff, whether that's on streaming or wherever, and then little campaigns that maybe tie into events. So I feel like everyone's just chasing that interconnected big franchise. That's just been the trend for the last 5 or 10 years. It feels like
A connected Battlefield universe,
Yep.
quote and quote.
Everyone wants that.
So if some
know?
movie came out or some show that you were like, actually, this looks dumb, I don't care, would you still be happy because, hey, Battlefield made a movie, or Battlefield, more people are going to be interested in Battlefield now and then might check this out?
I mean, I'm down. I want to be invested. It's just a hard sell, You really like the Call of Duty sell every time are the characters, their campaigns, because you're going through these big action moments. It's like, well, what's going to get me invested in this war show or war movie? And it's like you gotta have the characters. You gotta give me these characters that I'm invested in, that I'm emotional for. When feeling their struggle, when they go down, that affects me. So. Right now, it's just a bunch of archetypes, and they don't have any really characters to see how this connected universe kind of shakes out. It just feels so early in the life of it all.
Portal's still fun, though.
Love Portal, and love
still
the
fun
Battlefield.
after the review. Like, you had a blast in the review footage that I saw, but like even days or like a week later.
They added Bad Company. They did like a featured one. They did the Bad Company 2's Rush mode, but on the 2042 maps, and like Bad Company 2 versus Battlefield 3. So yeah, it's fun.
Ripple Effect, the developer who made that, is making something new for 2042, question mark.
Yeah.
And I think it would be kind of safe to be like, yeah, it's Portal related, but we'll have more information. They didn't even say that. They were like, can't really get into the details of what we're doing. It would make sense to have them continue to do that, but who knows?
I imagine a battle royale at some point. It feels like a safe bet, but you never know.
Byron Bede, who's a Call of Duty veteran that they hired earlier this year, he's focusing on strategy and business, said that the story team will expand 2042's narrative across, a variety of experiences.
Yeah. So like YouTube videos and Netflix possibly, and
It does feel a little weird, Blood, that they're announcing this so far after they announced 2042. That like, here's this game, and then later they're like, here comes more of this game. And it's like, well, this game didn't do well, so
I wonder if maybe
it's strange after everyone
Well, but
really
that's what I
felt
mean about it being
after-
already in the works.
Yeah.
Like this is sort of like where the plan is. This is like, 2042 is going to be a platform for Battlefield going forward for, who knows how long.
exactly.
But Damiani, this is one of the worst rated games on Steam.
But this is what Huber, we were talking about on Mike and Mike, that you hope that they do, is that they stay committed to this game, that they keep improving it.
Portal.
You just hope it doesn't take too long, that they don't like let too much content. But this maybe instills some faith that they had this huge plan for an expanded universe with all this other stuff. They want to take this urgently. They want to jump on improving this game, and they definitely can. Like it definitely can like improve and get to like a really great spot.
Absolutely. I think it can easily be salvages. I mean, there's been 2 patches and it's already in such a better state. And just the portal tools allow you to kind of mold the game the way you want. So I think that helps kind of alleviate some of those like inner worked issues like specialists and whatnot.
It's crazy to me that Battlefield has historically been at least very vocal about having this like behind the scenes community of like, gamer insiders that are giving them feedback and all of this. And you come out with this big mess that people don't like. It's
Nobody
so
likes specialists. Like, I don't know why. Don't see it anywhere. Usually, when there's so much noise one way,
Right.
you'll see some things kind of cut through, and it's like, no, like the best I've seen is like, they're whatever. Like, I haven't talked to anyone or seen any tweet or any article like really defending. I mean, maybe Kotaku, I think, said that they liked it because they're a solo. They're like, I play Battlefield really weird. I'm a solo vehicle player, so I only get in vehicles, and this way I can kind of like give my character whatever, so I'm okay with it. So it's like very specific, and I feel like, once you get into Warzone and you really start communicating, like the possibilities of that teamwork are there, but I just don't think it's enough to warrant such a dramatic change.
Like, I'm excited that they're hiring people to write better stories, but then it also is them admitting that they tell bad stories, and then they're like, get ready for more Battlefield stories. So it's like, that's a strange announcement following, this game just not launching well at all. It's like, are we... So do you think in general, though, the stock went up just in terms of emotional investment in Battlefield?
Yeah, I think it's a smart move. Obviously, Zampella right now is on a hot streak. You look at Titanfall 2, you look at Apex Legends,
and Fallen Order.
And Jedi Fallen Order. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. I was like, what is the third one I'm trying to think of? And Jedi Fallen Order, of course. So it is interesting that the big patch came out today, and also this news came out today. Like, they wanted to kind of just be like, kind of stop the narrative of like, this game is dead, this game is tanking, it's so bad, it's so bad.
Right. Do you think they rushed this blood? Do you think maybe this was news that was going to come out kind of piecemeal, bit by bit, and they were like, package it?
Yeah,
let's say everything good about stuff that's coming up tomorrow.
It's a good day for Battlefield.
Or is this just it was the day they were going to do it? And
I don't know.
knows,
I mean, it
but-
seems like they rushed the game, so I don't know.
maybe they rushed the announcement.
Maybe they, maybe it's one of those things to where because they had all this stuff in the works, they didn't feel like they could delay the game because they had to have all of this. I don't know. It's so strange.
This year has now taught me moving forward to not buy games that release in November. To wait. If a game comes out in November, I'm not buying it yet.
You hear
Straight
that?
up. I don't
You hear
care
that?
if it is Resident Evil 9.
Oh my!
Mark
nuts.
my word.
No, there's you nuts.
All these
Forza is pretty good.
because all these November games,
Just this.
they come out in November because they want to hit the Black Friday sales.
course.
There's no stopping the
Right.
release of the game. They have to get it out.
Right.
And it's
SMT5 came out this month.
Yeah.
how's it run?
It's great.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Nintendo's kind of like the gold standard
That's
for like
Atlas.
For
good
things running well.
Oh, yeah, Pokemon and Brilliant
Stop.
Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Stop,
I might
please.
say otherwise, but
Nintendo games are never broken. Right?
I'm sure we're not going to get any corrections on that, Huber.
Depends on.
I'm sure
Nintendo
no.
never
There's
comes
definitely
out
some-
broken.
Those are Game Freak games.
there was a game-ending bug in Twilight Princess, and you had to send in. Remember, you had to save in your save file or whatever for the.
Yeah, that
Wow.
crazy thing.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it had something to do with the part where you get like launched up to the sky. It wouldn't like trigger the progress of the crit path correctly, so you'd have to.
Like
There was typically like really weird
Yeah,
circumstances
but I
to make it
mean,
happen. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's not they're not imperfect. They're not perfect. They're imperfect. Yeah.
It's time to bring Damiani into this conversation. It's time to talk about the MMO that is capturing everyone's imaginations this week.
Final Fantasy 11.
EverQuest 2.
And by that, I mean, of course, this Marvel MMO that was just announced.
Oh, not even New World.
Not even
box.
New World,
Not even New World.
which I did just update the other day, but I haven't played in a little bit.
That's so harsh.
Marvel, baby!
Marvel.
Did you know about this? Have you heard about this, Damiani?
I saw a headline about it. It made me think of what was it? City of Heroes or something like that. I don't know.
City
if
of
they're
Heroes,
going-
City of
Oh,
Villains,
is
love
this-
City of
is
Villains.
this
That
what-
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
is this where
The
they're
DC
going for?
Universe guys.
Yeah, are they
And
going-
DC Universe Online.
Well,
Yeah.
the DC Universe guy, specifically Jack Emmert, is leading the whole crazy project. This
Yeah.
is Daybreak Games, and they're specifically their Austin-based
Yeah.
Dimensional Inc. studio. Anad Global 7 is the parent company, which I don't recall. He's currently in charge of DC Universe Online. So there's so many people just jumping ship from DC to. I love it. I love when artists and writers do that too in comics, where they're just like, haha, I'm writing Superman now, and like Marvel fans are like, and then previously helped co-found Cryptic Studios and helped design and run City of Heroes for a long time. Did you play City of Heroes back in the
No,
day?
just a bunch of people. Yeah, I heard you were playing it, and there's a
I
bunch of
played
people
a
played
little
it.
City of Heroes, a lot of City of
Yeah,
Heroes.
and it came up a lot, and it just sounded like anyone who played it had a really good time with it, and were really sad when kind of like people moved on from it.
Yeah.
So the fact that people involved in it are gonna helm a new one, it's like a new project. It's like gives it a little bit of credibility, a little bit of optimism.
I made like a Bane juggernaut.
What was your ability? What was your main? What'd you go in on?
It was the speed. I
Smart.
remember. I had the super
speed?
Yeah.
I had the
Smart
jump.
Juggernaut?
The jump.
I had the leaping tall buildings and single
Awesome.
bound.
Everyone does flying.
Sneak strike was my character. Sneak strike.
Oh.
Well, what was fun about jumping was my buddy picked flying,
Yeah.
and he was like, "This is amazing, but I go 2 miles an hour." And as you leveled up higher, you could fly faster. Where my jump was pretty good. I could like jump between buildings and stuff. Gosh, that was fun.
Yeah. Good times.
So yeah, here's somebody that has found his calling. I mean, they're like, you get the vibe sometimes of like people moving on to new franchises. They're like, I can't do that. This was fun, but I just want to find something else creatively. Not Jack, baby. Jack has made his own line of superheroes, then got to play in the DC universe, and is now going to make a Marvel MMO that is not coming out probably until 2024, maybe 2023, certainly not next year.
Jack's
Quote, long-term project, quote, AAA MMO, utilizing Marvel IP, which is like a weird clinical way to say that, which could maybe mean it's not, I'd imagine it's all of Marvel, but like could just be X-Men, could just be Avengers, could just be, I don't know. Marvel IP is like a real specific way to say that.
You know what I want to do? Agree or disagree? What are your guys' thoughts? Do you want to have a Marvel MMO where you choose which Marvel character you are, or do you want to create your own superhero, like City of Heroes style, and then they all are like NPCs and characters within it? What do you want to do?
I think the latter.
So you want to make a...
Well, I mean,
I think I would
guess
make
we
one.
personally want, or what?
But
Yeah,
maybe,
what do you want?
Maybe you have missions where you like pick where
You get to play as
so
them.
Yeah.
missions, cool.
It's not your
So a
main
little bit of
character,
both.
but
okay.
there's
Or you maybe have modes where, like, in Battlefront, where it's just like you roll the dice of who plays Han Solo this round. So there's some multiplayer mode where, like, oh, cool, I get to be, Spider-Man, yay, and then just for this one round, and you all try to catch me, or like I'm Kingpin, you're all trying to take me down, or
What about you, Isla? Create or become one of them?
Oh man, for an MMO, you gotta create, right?
But that's why I do like. I'm only bringing this up because you just asked that question. Because I've been thinking about that a lot because I'm obsessed with Future Revolution, this mobile game. And the way that they justify it is they're like, there's Captain America's all over the place, but that's the plot. Like
Multiverse.
It's the convergence they specifically call it.
Okay.
So like you go to like Midgardia and see like the Thor version of everyone, like Spider-Man in a big Thor outfit, and like. So it's like insane on purpose.
Yeah.
Let's add
Like-
one more element to this.
Like,
Let's add dating sim.
oh my god.
So your character
Oh, yeah.
is created by hooking up to existing Marvel characters.
Like
Okay, what
Red
you
Dead.
do?
Red
Yeah,
Dead. Red Dead did that.
Red Dead,
Yeah.
Dead.
Fallout did that too.
Oh, Red Dead on both
Fire
on
Emblem.
onlines. Yeah,
Yeah.
GTA Online.
No,
That's so
no.
funny.
Because
so Storm and Pyro,
Well, you should
want
also
to have
be
a
able to
kid,
bang
and
heroes.
that's your
That should totally
character.
be a part of it.
DC Universe, not DC Universe, Marvel Heroes Omega.
Yeah.
That game was so fun. And it was they did the you play as a hero, so there's like 10 Doctor Stranges or 10 Spider-Man.
Avengers tried to restrict it and
Yeah,
then just gave
yeah.
up,
Yeah.
so you can place whoever now in Avengers.
Gotcha.
Did the raid. I was Hulk with 3 Spider-Men. It was- they were all sitting. It was so fun. They
But
were all just sitting,
Avengers-
I was just like, "Rah!"
We've never had like a Marvel game like this. Marvel's usually Ultimate Alliance, Legends, like action-y stuff, arcadey. It's kind of DC that's, I'm curious why it was DC that we got the MMO of first. Do you have a take on that, Damiani? Like why was DC down and not Marvel?
Back then,
Because he's moving from DC Universe Online, to this new venture.
I know
It's going to
why.
take a while.
I know.
Oh, you do know?
I mean, I have a theory why.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, the Nolan DC Universe Online's an old game. Like the Nolan era of Batman, that was like when it was bigger than Marvel. You know, like Batman Begins, Dark Knight was 2008. That's the year Iron Man came out. So
I remember
like,
Jim Lee
MCU wasn't even really operating.
Gotcha.
I remember Jim
That's
Lee
a good
like
theory.
designed the whole line. It was like his Batman, his Joker, like for a lot of these characters.
That's when Batman was reigning.
And of course, I was like so tempted to jump in.
I was say, like, wasn't also like WB Property Games just in a better place at that point in the mid 2000s? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it was Sony Online at the time when
Yeah.
it first came out.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a whole PlayStation
but
thing.
the success of like DC properties, like
Yeah.
Arkham
Yeah, I just feel like-
Asylum and
the Arkham
Lego
games,
Batman,
exactly. The
or-
Arkham games. So
yeah,
yeah, I just feel
like-
like Batman was like the it. Now
yeah.
it's Marvel.
There obviously were Marvel games, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, they were. I think Ultimate Alliance 2 was like the last like big one.
So you and I both played City of Heroes, but did not play DC Universe Online.
Correct.
Why?
I don't know.
What happened? They didn't get us.
I played a little bit. I remember. I think I did
It's on
like
Switch.
some Gotham.
Is it?
yeah.
Something.
Is it?
I,
Oh,
I
wait.
played like till level like 3. I barely played like an hour.
No.
Yeah. But I remember it being fun, Jones. I remember being fun.
I'm sure it's a blast because
Yeah.
City of Heroes was a blast.
Yeah.
And it was really great. It was just fun in a lot of ways, doing stuff that open world, even like Spider-Man doesn't really do. Just this like really feeling that like I'm in the city with a bunch of heroes. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people to save. Not like, it's just kind of open world set dressing. Do we think, are you going to play Marvel MMO? Does that sound exciting? Is this going to
Triple
land in a market?
MMO.
Yeah, is this going to land in a market that wants it, that's ready for
I
it?
give every MMO a shot at base because I love MMO launches. It's the most electric thing
It'll
in
get
gaming.
a lot of curious people at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
payment
It's
plan
just-
should this have, Damiani?
I'm sorry.
What payment plan should this game have?
Oh, I mean, almost all of them are just like you buy the game and that's it. There's no subscription.
New
I
world,
highly
yeah.
doubt that. I'm more curious about how the battle system is going to work because you already have the Avengers game that's out right now that is a game as a service, and it's like, all right, that's real time combat. Is it going to be another real time where each face button is an action? Is it going to be like more of like a real MMO style with like your cooldowns, hot bars, buffs, like all that. Like I mean, like just more elaborate. Like how elaborate are they going to get with this? Because I don't. It has to avoid looking and feeling too samey to Avengers. Whenever it comes
Right.
out, it has to have its own distinct. Yeah.
But I think it's
identity.
I think with the the pedigree, they've obviously seen a lot of what works with
Yeah.
those past 3 games. I would assume that it would be similar. It maybe not
To
be
their
like a
past
one-to-one
works.
copy, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
That's
the-
what I'm expecting. It's
The
gonna
big
be
nerd
close
in
to
me
that.
hopes that he's just
Yeah.
had this laundry list and he pitched it and they were like, oh yeah, let's make the next gen of superhero. Because what would be fun for me is if they really, and just in fantasy MMOs in general, just the genre, I would love to see more of. It's always a dumb idea to split your gamer base, but like it'd be fun if like bruisers, like Hulk
Yeah.
types, we're playing kind of a different game. Like they had different missions. They had and like if I'm more tech based and flying, like I'm going places you generally
Yeah.
can't. Or like if I'm more Ant-Man or Vision, where like I can shrink and like
I love that
phase into
idea.
places.
Fantastic
I'm
idea.
going places you
Yo.
can't. Like I can maybe
That's so
open stuff
great.
up for you, but it's like I have a whole.
You have
because I love when like
you do the same mission
Yeah.
sometimes, but like you also have your own.
because it's fun when Marvel, like when these two universes, when Tony Stark meets Doctor Strange, and like who the hell are you? And you see these worlds collide.
You have to have like Avengers Campus or whatever superhero campus where you get like your own house. You have all this stuff.
Colson
You gotta have-
Academy. Let's go.
That's the player tutorial before you
Yeah,
can get in the
dude.
game.
Let's go.
Yo, what mounts are we getting in this game?
Freaking Lola, dude. Colson's car, dude. Colson's totally your like tutorial
Sure.
onboarding.
I'm gonna make him a summon. You can summon Coulson and Val.
Tyler Colson or
And then he
Fury.
just gets stabbed.
sacrifice.
yeah.
Shout out to Agent M, who's one of the main PR guys at one of their hosts on YouTube channels, stuff like that for Marvel, and he's like in Future Evolution. You like go buy stuff from him, and it's like his face and everything. I'm like, he's getting pretty stoked. Like, Captain Marvel's buying potions from me.
Sick.
I bring this up because we could be facing the biggest MMO expansion launch of all time tonight, hours away.
How big was Cataclysm to people who played? What was
Right after Lich King.
I mean,
Wrath
just
of the-
raw
was
numbers,
Wrath-
I don't
wait,
know. It
was
was
Wrath of the Lich King like the
Probably the
biggest
biggest,
one,
probably
like
the
that was
biggest.
best received
Probably.
for WoW.
Yes.
I mean, critically, yeah.
I
mean,
just remember
it was,
everyone going
100%,
nuts about
100%,
Wrath of the Lich King.
100%.
Yeah.
It was Burning Crusade, Wrath of the
It's
Lich King.
almost like
hype, and then
yeah.
it's like Lich King was like, dude, okay, let's go.
It's almost like Warcraft 3 did what they did to Arthas to create a good MMO villain.
Yeah.
It was
They
it
used to-
worked out so well.
You talk so much about like that final fight and stuff, like your story you told about
That
it
was
a
epic
while
as
ago. It's
hell,
like,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I hear all the stories come from Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King.
In
pretty
Cataclysm,
much.
you could fly, and you
Yeah.
got to see all these old places. The open world nut in me was like, all these places have changed.
Yeah.
And, it's cool.
Deathwing's big, like, down the middle of the map.
Oh god.
Yeah,
so
but
sick.
spoilers, nobody's playing WoW anymore. It's over. They're
Yeah.
moved on. WoW's gonna have a bad week. We can maybe start with that. What do you Blood your WoW? What do you do this week? What do you just do you put a big sleeping sign on your when you log in
Yeah.
or what? Like do you
Put the
fight
thing
do
on
you
the
fight
door.
hard or do you just tweet good luck Square?
I saw, was it the
Yeah.
patch 9.2 tried to bill it as like the conclusion to the 13-year like battle of WoW or something.
Are
I don't
you
know.
kidding?
Yeah, like it's the epic conclusion to a 13-year saga. Or
I
something.
couldn't even get.
I saw reaction
What?
videos of like WoW players dying of laughter because they couldn't believe
Wow.
what Blizzard was trying to like,
Steal
force
some of
out.
that thunder.
They're trying
yeah.
to force it out.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But different times.
Yep.
I hope WoW ends someday because I love nuking an MMO. That's the best. I love like the last night of an
Star
MMO.
Wars
That's
Galaxies.
it's a big deal. You know?
Yeah.
What was the anyway? Lots of old stories of MMOs. I'm trying to think of the Tabula Rasa. Bam. That was a name I didn't think I could dig up.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
remember
Wow,
the
that
players
game.
jumping around and shooting fireworks like they're closing the servers. Final Fantasy 14 servers are likely not to be shut down for a while. Maybe they're not going to work too
Yeah,
well
I was gonna
tonight.
say, they might not work.
We've discussed
they
where
do.
Huber is emotionally with the Battlefield franchise. Where are you at, sleep-wise, emotion-wise, in preparation for this big old game that you've prepared for more hours than I've spent on anything?
This is endgame Huber.
It is,
I've been
it
telling Huber,
It
I feel
is,
bad.
Endgame Walker.
But like
Of
this
course.
is the game that has invested in its narrative, rightfully to a degree criticized at how much time it takes to get through it. But like the argument has always been this is not just one of the best Final Fantasy stories they're telling, but it's also just one of the better, potentially like upper echelon of like storytelling in video games as a medium, and it demands a lot of time. And this is the conclusion to this. It's not the end of 14, but it is the conclusion of this storyline that began back in vanilla, technically, in 1.0. The disaster launch, it's like, this is it. This is the end of it. So you could say it's been like 8 years in the making. If you go around more, you could say it's been over 10 years in the making. But everything they've been showing up to now narratively just says, this is it. There's this. We're getting a resolution to this story. Shit's going down. And there's even there was a Weekly Famitsu interview that came out recently that teased what's next. Because to back up real quick, whenever a new expansion comes out, that's not the end of the story for the new story. It usually goes on for another few. There's patches every 3 or 4 months.
Yes.
The first 3 patches usually like wrap things up, and you have like a proper conclusion to the story that is in the expansion. It's like, oh, that's great. So they develop it a little bit more. That's not happening this time. They're like, no, when you get credits, that's it. This storyline is not going beyond this. When we get the next patch, like in March of next year, April next year, a brand new story arc is beginning.
Yeah.
So it's like
Phase 2.
Like this is like, yeah, and they tease what that was going to be, and they're like, to get there, like you're like players are going to say you're willing to go that far? Are you insane? Like they're just like making people freak out about what they're gonna do. So it's like the usual when you got to like the last Harry Potter book, when you got to like Endgame,
Right.
it's like who's gonna make it? Like where's that list? Like
Yeah.
what's going down? And stuff.
Madara
Like,
Uchiha.
literally, it's that. It's like so that's why
Thanos.
that's why there's a rush as Zerg. Like I mean, the nervousness about the serviceability
Yeah.
is because no one wants to get like those big spoilers out there.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like-
even
just
amongst
like
your
Spider-Man, like,
even
yeah,
amongst
yeah.
your
yeah.
your guildmates, your friends in this game, like how are you going to handle that? Because it's one thing if like you and I are watching like a 10-hour show and it's like, wait, what episode are you on? It's like, wait, what? That was the last thing you
Generally,
did.
like the
Your
etiquette
level, like what level are
So
you?
the community is
Kinda?
pretty good about etiquette generally. Like so, like in Discord servers in game, like most free companies, guilds, basically, most like Discord servers will be like impose pretty strict like no spoilers.
Right.
Like every Discord server I'm a part of for 14 literally posted like this week. No Endwalker spoilers, no data mining, none of that nonsense. If you do it, you will be banned on the spot. You know, no second chances, and it's like There's a bit like how Marvel has like how Marvel convinced people like shh for Endgame.
Mostly the Russos. I felt like
Yeah,
Marvel is like spoiling
saying
it
that,
themselves.
this time
now.
it's like Yoshi P and the team, the people who you trust, are saying like, don't spoil this, man. Like it's like people have been waiting for this. Like, don't be that person.
Seriously, whew. That's high stakes, Damiani.
Yeah.
So you're gonna play it probably nonstop to try to just like beat it so you don't get spoiled, I imagine.
I'd like to get ahead of most
ahead
people,
of the curve.
so it's like when I'm looking at people like they're behind me. Like I'm not worried
Seriously.
about like because people are just gonna like someone inadvertently in game could because it's an MMO. You have shout chat, you have say chat.
Yeah.
I obviously could turn those all off, but like
Yeah.
you go into a dungeon and you're running with 3 random strangers. One of them just might be a jerk. It's like, hey, guess what? Did you know this happens in the next dungeon? It's like, oh, thanks, bud.
That's the thing, man.
Yeah.
I would put up like a little barrier. I would tape it to my monitor and just write on the chat right there.
You can hide chat.
Yeah,
Just straight
hide
up.
it.
course,
Just
yeah.
hide it, dude.
Yeah, there's
Take
mods
no
for that.
chances.
Yeah,
No chances.
Oh, that's good.
But it's interesting because you talked about this change coming next year. I mean, it's like Fortnite's doing the same thing. It's like there's so many updates, but then this is like chapter 2 is ending.
Yeah.
Do you think this has been a good pace for the game? Do you think the fan base is like ready for a big change like that? Do you think expectations might get out of control?
In terms of like the storyline, it's been going on for a while. So in terms of making a new like going in a different direction, it does feel like they're at a good place where this like they should conclude what they're doing right now. We're just talking about general pace of updates though. Like it's been a pretty good pace. COVID did impact them, and then this expansion was also the first time they've had to delay it. It was 2 weeks, but also was coming out a lot later than anyone expected. I think even with the impact from COVID, I think people were thinking like sometime in early fall instead of summer, and like they said November. It's like, woo, that's like the end of the year. You know, that's almost like winter at that point. But yeah, they've been pretty good updates. They said they're going to keep continuing with those, and generally, like the next patch will have like a ton of content as well. I'm kind of curious because I think the next patch might be even as it's launching a new story. It's like, what is there gonna be crazy stuff that like is this gonna be the biggest individual patch besides an expansion
Yeah.
like this? It's insane.
Is
So it's
Orzia the country or the world or what?
so it's the name of the let's not we don't need to get into it, but like
I was gonna say, could it like
when you say it broadly, it's the world. It's the world.
The
when you
only
broadly
thing
refer
I
to it.
know about Endwalker is that someone was standing in space, so I'm wondering if it truly is the end. They're just gonna like blow the world
That's
up
just
or
what
something.
summons look like. That's just that's
Yes.
just the they were standing in the space
they
where
have-
Assassin's Creed levels
They
loaded
have
to.
the
You
Final
know, it's the
Fantasy
same kind of void.
VIII, summon cinematic where the planet thing shoots the beam and everything. Like they have stuff like that. In
Well,
this game.
that was a thing that bugged me a couple weeks ago. They tweeted the sky's the limit, and I'm like, we saw a guy on the moon. We're already
Can
going
we-
past the limit.
Be the Batman, Jones.
Be the Batman.
We're already going past the sky.
How would you feel if this update next year was maybe something I could just kind of skip to? You
So-
know, like
Hey, we're getting into Damiani's spoiler questions here.
where it's
for,
like
future interviews.
I'll get more in an enriched experience if I spend the however many hundreds of hours doing
It
the
would
other
be
stuff.
a
But
very wise decision.
if
Jones,
I
they
want to
Yes.
just play with y'all and do this content, then we
Jones?
can. Here's a good lap, so you can just skip it, and then every now and then you'll be confused, but it's fine.
I
seems like
hope.
it-
Go ahead.
Doesn't that seem like it would just be like going to the last couple chapters of a book? Why would anyone want to do that?
No, because if 6.1 starts a brand new thing,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
don't
the new
yeah,
after. Oh.
and we have no idea how
Got
much
it.
is going to cut
Smart,
ties.
smart.
Like we
Got
don't
it.
know how much ties are going to be cut at that point.
Got it.
So if they go all in
Yeah.
and really
See-
want to do what Jones wants,
A new beginning.
I think
type.
they're
Yeah.
I hope they figure
Got
out
it.
an elegant way to offer that. I just don't know if they will.
Yeah.
But like that would help them so much more to grow even further than what they've been growing in the past few months.
and you have reflected this as well. Just kind of like as much as Realm Reborn kicked ass, and they fixed, they put a Band-Aid over this wound that the original Final Fantasy Online had, 14 Online. They still, I don't know. I just think expectations are kind of. I think expectations are following that are a little scary, just in terms of like what the condition the game's going to be like moving forward. Like if they're going to be able 3, 4, 5 years now to look back on that and be like, we put ourselves in the same situation again. It's kind of like, did we need to make Destiny 2? It's like how these walls that we place up between content.
Now-
like any lessons we can learn from Realm Reborn that we can put into this new whatever.
But
it is.
I think that's kind of hopefully that will be again, like if we when we get the next thing, then that'll be kind of a standalone. So every time they put out a new expansion, hopefully they'll be more standalone. So it's like you can understand the connections between them, and you can appreciate those. but you don't have to go through that content in order to enjoy it. You can just hop in. And I think that would be the best way to go about it at least from a newcomer's perspective. Because it's, you know, like when you guys all talk about Endwalker, it's like, well, maybe when I retire or something. I don't know.
Or like Star Trek: The Next Generation. You know, it's like it's great on its own, but if you go back and watch the original 3 seasons, like you'll pick up some fun stuff and some references.
Yeah, it makes sense from a narrative perspective if they decide to change directions for that. But in terms of the core of the game, like that's not whatever happens in the expansion. You know, they'll keep obviously tweaking that, but like it's not going to like in terms of the whole package, it's not going to be a radical shift like from 1.0 to Realm Reborn in terms of like that and overhauling of that extent. It's just going to be the narrative, which is a big part of the game, why people play this game. But I mean, at the same point, it's nice to see so many people getting into it in terms of like big name people, not just people from WoW, but like some of the biggest Twitch streamers are jumping into it, and like a lot of them are starting at the beginning and they're playing through it, and they're seeing that like, oh, this isn't as tedious as I thought, or you know, if you just stick to the story, like they have massaged that path to leveling up through the stories to get caught up. They even Naoki even said at the media tour that going forward, starting with Endwalker, they'd like to make it even easier for people to catch up, and they decided to start at the beginning and catch up the expansion. So it sounds like when WoW did that crunch or whatever for leveling up, it sounds like they're doing something similar.
I mean, that slope has just gotten slippery. Like before I left WoW years ago, that was already, you know, that was just a water slide, you know, raging waters. You just, look, I'm level 80.
But at the same time, you're seeing people who are like, don't want to rush. They're like, this is really good. I want to play this. I want to like watch these cutscenes. I'm not going to skip this cutscenes. And it's, I don't know. It is a long time investment, but this game, the game is made though. And I fully support and believe this because it's been so many years that they've stuck to their guns with this. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon with this, and play at your own pace. When a patch comes, if you want to catch up, take all the time you need. Even with Endwalker coming out, I get it. But like anything anyone's talking about with Endwalker, you're not going to understand if you're starting around. What are you even talking about? So like you're going to be mostly immune to that, and like play it every few hours on a weekend or something, and just like make your way through it. And they don't. They're totally okay with you unsubscribe. It is one of the last few subscription-based MMOs, but they're like, subscribe for 1 month to play a new patch every time you want to catch the story, and then leave, because we understand and respect your time. We know you have other games you want to play. We do not expect you to play this game. But everyone's like, there's so much to do in this game. Well, it's meant to appeal to as many different people. I mean, if you want to try and do everything, go ahead, but like you aren't really meant to play everything in that game, technically. You're supposed to gravitate towards the stuff you like and its strong points, and then, you know, play it for a bit, and then go do other stuff, and then come back later when there's updates for it. And I don't know. I do think that it's not just PR speak at this point, because they do, you know, you can get that story. Each new story can be done in a few hours. Every 3-4 months, play for a few hours. Boom. See you in 3-4 months. I'm out. You know.
Yeah.
I think it'll go well. It's been nice knowing you, Damiani. Have a good time.
I hope so. I hope those servers. That's just unfortunate that you know, chip shortages. They can't buy more servers, so they've done their best to improve them. But Shadowbringers had a very smooth launch. Stormblood didn't technically. Its early access was pretty rough.
But they apologized. Square Enix in advance. They already said
preemptive.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
I think they're expecting it to have long queue times to get in. I just hope the servers stay up. So once you get in, you're not like crash by. You're back at the end of the queue line. It's like, oh no. Like when New World went through. Like I don't want that.
Crazy.
I don't want that.
Crazy.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Going to therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about having BetterHelp as a sponsor, because I think that's one of the stigmas that you have to get over. I like to think I'm a relatively smart person. I like to think I'm open to a lot of new, fun, emotional experiences that can make me more mentally healthy. And even just the prospect of therapy is like, that means I screwed up. No, it means you made a good decision for yourself. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Why invest in everything else and not your mind? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Easy Allies listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/allies. That's BETTERHELP.com/allies. Go to betterhelp.com/allies to get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like leaving your keys in your car while you run to the gas station for a snack. Most of the time, you're probably fine, but what if you come back and see someone driving off with your car? I like that the situation was a Starbucks last time. It's like you go to the bathroom. I don't know if my stuff would be safer at a gas station or Starbucks. It's hard to say. Every time you connect to an encrypted network, cafes, hotels, airports, any hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data. It doesn't take much technical knowledge to hack someone, just some cheap hardware is needed. A smart 12-year-old could do it. Your data is valuable. Hackers can make up to $1,000 per person selling personal info on the dark web. And we enjoy ExpressVPN. I always remember Brent Phillips would talk about hacking, the old game trailer site. And he's like, you always just basically want to throw as many roadblocks as you can. Because it's tough to totally block people, but you just always want to make it more difficult. ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so hackers can't steal your sensitive data. And we have used it to access content that we would not have been available otherwise. Almost needed to break ExpressVPN out because I was like, Milo, let's watch the Nutcracker. I was like, how can I find? They're like, this weird Macaulay Culkin Nutcracker. Like, no, people dancing on stage. How do I find this? Apple TV. ExpressVPN can help. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/allies. That's expressvpn.com/allies. You can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/allies. Here's a new one. Do you know why free trials renew without your consent? It's a business scam out to get you. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill to take control of your subscriptions. I love you, Truebill. Because Truebill is basically saying, we're all a little dumb. Let Truebill help. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. I have done that so many times. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel. Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions, so you don't have to. I just love it because when Amanda and I moved in together and she kind of like took over our finances more than I was, there were a lot of these like, what's this subscription? And like half the time I was like, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell. Just based on that name, I don't know. Like calling things, leaving messages like, who are you? Why did I give you $5? Truebill has over 2 million users and helps save them over $100 million. Like Matthew B., who says, quote, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill, saved $120 for the year on my SiriusXM bill, saved $840 a year on car insurance. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/allies, which I have visited, and this is a fun site. Go right now. Truebill.com/allies could save you thousands every year. That's Truebill, those words, put together, .com/allies. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you.
Gotta cancel my AMC subscription. Just made me realize.
Is that shot fired?
AMC Plus. No, because Walking Dead ended.
Oh, so it's a Walking Dead shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, because now it doesn't come back for 3 months.
Yeah, so who cares, right?
So I gotta cut that.
See ya. Was it Paramount Plus that we were all like, no? The Halo series, like, no. Oh, God. Truebill, get on that. When that Halo series is done, Truebill. How do I let Truebill know when Halo is done? 1 year ago, almost, a game came out that would have a game launch unlike any game launch that has ever happened before. They would have a PlayStation 4 version with a frame rate the console had never seen, especially the likes coming from CD Projekt Red. Of course, this is Cyberpunk 2077, which launched last year and has had a tough year. They've had to do a lot to fix the game on consoles. There was a next-gen PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X version that doesn't even have a date at this point. Potentially more content updates that are coming down the road. But I'm here to say that this was actually a good week for Cyberpunk 2077. It is currently getting beat right now on Steam by Farming Simulator 22, but it has been $60 all year, and then it dropped to $30, and then popped up to the top 10 on Steam, and is now, quote-unquote, very positive on Steam.
I picked it up on 30. I've been following this game all year. I checked the patch notes and the updates on Cyberpunk all year long. Not even exaggerating.
Where are we at?
we're at a very good place. We
All
had
right.
1.31 a little while ago. It made the rain all look nice. Everything looked nice and stable. I only follow the PC version.
Yes.
Because every other version of this game is garbage.
I mean,
so really, this
yeah.
is only a Steam game as far as I'm concerned. Like, until those next-gen versions come out next year. But
almost every article I read was like PC
Yeah,
is the only version of this game you should probably
it's
play.
been stable on PC for a bit because like 1.3 was good. Each one of these patches that comes out really makes the game nice. And then like 1.3 came out, but then 1.31 like really helped it. It was kind of wonky a little there for like a little bit. It was kind of weird. But it's been good. It's been stable. I think the Black Friday sale and the hype got everyone to finally commit, and things are looking up. And they said because I've been wrestling all year, Jones. The reason I've been following it is because I want to play it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, when am I going to strike, though? When is the patch going to hit that's going to make me jump in? Because I keep hearing good things. I'm like, okay, one more and I'll do it. And I've done that a couple times. So 1.31 comes out, and I'm like, okay, I'm finally going to do it. Got really busy, whatever. But then, like 3 weeks ago, now I have crippling self-doubt because they were like, yo, we're going to take the entire year off of patches. We're doing nothing for the rest of 2021. Look forward to 2022 where we go directly from 1.31 to 1.5. So they're skipping 1.4. 1.5 is probably going to be the next gen versions. And they've been talking heavily about because this has all been bug fixes. That's what all of this is. Bug fixes, little bits of quality of life things, nothing crazy major. Now it's in a spot where moving forward you add the DLC, you start refining things, you start tweaking things, you start enhancing things like player housing. I know has been a big one people have been talking about.
Adding new features.
Adding new
right, at this point,
features,
enhancing Cyberpunk means making it work.
Yeah, adding new features. Because now the PC version is fine, and you can go from there.
I'm sorry, you're talking about 3.3 and 3.5. I was just thinking about Spinal Tap. It's just like, well, why don't you make 10 louder and then make 10 the loudest? And he's like, these go to 3.5.
Yeah. I mean, it was running all right on my PC for the 1 hour that my PC was running.
For the brief amount of time I played it on my Series X, I loved it. I didn't really have any issues. Car spawning is the number one. I want Bloodworth to log into his save file and spawn a car. And if it's fine, then I'll believe that Cyberpunk is better.
I had some hilarious clips.
They were all cars. It was always, where's my car? Oh, it's flying over my head right now on fire.
Yep. And that's still something. There's still something in the way like the world loads as you're driving that I just don't like. It just feels very poppy. Yeah. So maybe that will be a 1.5 fix. I don't know.
And like police.
So it's just a very like the stability of the game feels completely different when you're walking versus when you're driving. It doesn't feel like a game that's really made for you to be driving in it.
So, Blood, you like CD Projekt Red. You have an investment in this company. I have an investment in Rockstar. They both kind of suck right now. They both these companies, it's been rough. But we got not only Cyberpunk and global Steam top sellers, Witcher 3 is. We got Witcher 3 DLC coming based on the series. We got Witcher 3 Season 2 coming.
That's right. And the next gen versions of Witcher 3 as well. I forgot about that.
Right.
I'm going to call this Cyberpunk's redemption in our timestamps. Should I? Is that accurate? Are they on the way?
I don't know. Like when you were talking about that and like on the rundown, I was like, what happened?
I don't know.
I had no idea. I didn't hear about
Huber
this
bought it.
stuff.
I mean, that's Huber. He bought it. I mean,
I've been following.
15,000 very positive reviews this week.
Was it just a sale that it's 30? Or they actually
just
drop
because it got
Yeah,
cheaper?
$30.
It was just the sale. Yeah.
And because Forbes, Paul Tassi, shout out, like writes an article about how good it is, like every month, because he's been doing the same thing. He jumped in, then there was another patch, and he's like, oh my god, it's actually good now. So people have been like, I just Google like Cyberpunk patch notes like every month or so, and then you'll just see an article where it's like, yo, they're fixing this, or an interview here, they're working on this, and then a patch comes out, and you just like hear people say, hey, like this has been a lot better now. So it's just been a consistent, slow and steady and consistent ride for this game. They've been like pretty quiet.
Yeah.
If you haven't been paying attention, but they've also been like really open and like
It's to me it's kind of it's like No Man's Sky. It's just don't make a lot of waves and pop up when you're done. Like literally when the content's finished and then you show up, haha, or here's our trailer, it's out next week or something. But like, trying to drum up anticipation.
And you just see, influencers have so much power. I'll see like a new influencer play it like once in a while. There'll be someone like, yo, going through Cyberpunk now. It's amazing. Like you'll just see that tweet pop up here and there. But yeah, I think the sale was kind of the big
It's definitely one of those games
push.
like when I've gotten back to dive into it, like, all right, I'm taking screenshots again.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is just gorgeous. Yeah.
The neon in that. Oof.
Yeah.
But CD Projekt Red stoked. The president said to a Polish newspaper, quote, "We believe that in the long run, Cyberpunk 2077 will be perceived as a very good game. And like other titles, it'll sell for years."
Because even at its worst, I know so many PC players, Brad being one of them, that was like, yo, like he beat it very quickly. He's like, yo, rough as shit, but that game is sick. Like,
Right,
there's
yeah.
a lot of really cool stuff in that game. It's awesome.
I think that's
Now,
the
rough
box quote that they
edges-
took from Brad, right?
Yeah.
Rough as shit, but
Yeah. So they've like been working on all those rough edges. There's a lot more work to do. It shows this game came out probably a year too early,
Yeah.
a full year. The last gen versions honestly should have been scrapped. There's too much money on the table there for them to do that. Unfortunately, all these like shitty business decisions
Right.
have been coming to light this year. But
I just wonder if it's a good case for the award, Easy Allies Award, that I want to pitch this year. Games that launched in an unfinished state and used to suck, but are now kind of better. I'm just curious. Just seems to be like a
I
new
like
genre
that.
now. Yeah.
it is.
It seems there's like a name for it. I know there's a name amongst gaming publishers and developers. There's like a name for that where they're like, well, we could just do that. Like EA said that with Battlefield. They're like, well, we could fix
it's
it later.
so weird because it's like you're saying is like the apocalyptic problems were all last gen. They were all console problems. And when I was playing it, I would run across bugs that were funny. But
Sure.
they weren't like disrupting my playthrough really. So
Yeah, I've kind of been wrestling with that with Battlefield Bloodworth. It's an interesting point because, if you're on the outside looking in at Battlefield, it's a nuclear bomb went off and it's this broken, unplayable thing. But even before the patches, I play 10, 20, 30 hours and I only run into these bugs for maybe like a total of 30 minutes or an hour. But so it's like, it's hard to know unless you're in there.
Yeah.
But the noise is so loud that it's like people just stayed away,
Right.
Or like I
Very true.
didn't have my PC at the time, so I played the last gen version. So like you run into a problem, but the narrative has already been stated that the game has so many problems, it's so bad. So as soon as I run into a problem, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yep, it's a mess. Okay. So I bailed out quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just the PC version and just all these different versions, it's hard to really know.
When do you know it's fixed?
When do you
like
know?
I'm sure being 60 all year was just hilarious for a lot of fans or people that were thinking about investing, but then like, whoop, we're talking about them. Like they sliced it in half and
Isla, when did Cyberpunk originally come out? The
I'll
exact
check.
date?
December because it missed the Game
December,
Awards. So
yeah.
it was
It
late
was
November, early
okay.
December.
So
Yeah.
so it didn't hit that Black Friday. Okay.
Because I remember I was going to all the Christmas
Okay.
parties and I had like
But it still falls into
Yeah.
November
December 10th.
arguments.
I remember I had people coming up to me like at like Halloween, like Christmas parties and stuff that they were like, "Yo, Cyberpunk, what's going on?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Where do you want to start?"
And
Like,
that right there is
Yeah.
why I probably, I still haven't finished the story. Because number one,
Yep.
it's so easy to get distracted and wrapped up into side
yeah.
quests and all kind of that stuff. And then, but number two, like just, that trying to like get through all the GOTY games.
Yeah.
It's like-
I know I'm so torn. It's like, do
Yeah.
I play what is now considered probably like the best original version of the game? I feel
Right.
like it's what this was the intent at launch where the game is now. This is the original kind of version of it.
Because there's just this
Going-
moment where it's like, okay, Cyberpunk's not going to be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So I should try to play something.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like you were talking about it, the additions. What was the word you used? Enhancements, refinements. They're going to add features.
Additions, yeah.
They're gonna- features. They're
Features,
going to
right.
add features going forward. So it'll be a different game going forward now. So I just don't know what to play. I don't know when.
Too many games.
Too many games. Oh, yeah.
Will be after I get my PC back personally.
But to close really fast, does this add more, like this whole broken game thing, like Rockstar comes out with GTA. Oh,
Right.
but we fixed it.
Battlefield.
Oh, but we fixed it
Yeah.
now. Cyberpunk. Like,
Check out
is
the
this
patch.
just gonna keep excusing
But that's the
releasing
thing, though.
broken
I
games?
feel like Cyberpunk is in a weird spot because, like you're saying, it's like, is this the comeback moment? And like, I don't feel like it. Like, I still feel like the vibe, even personally, even
Okay.
though I enjoy playing the game, the
Yeah.
vibe is negative.
Okay.
So
So it's still not
It's not-
excused.
yeah,
I feel like there's a difference between your game was finished. It's not buggy. It's just not a good game. And then and it's not what people thought, which was what No Man's Sky, what Diablo 3, what OG Final Fantasy 14 was. And they're like, all right, we're not giving up on this. We're going to go back to the board and try and redo this game versus something like Cyberpunk versus Battlefield, whether it was held back because it needed to be on last gen or it needed more time in the oven. When a game feels incomplete at launch and it has its problems, that's where I think people are going to start saying that you're using this as an excuse versus being genuine about it. And it's like,
like that.
obviously, I do think the company's like, well, because whether it's money or they want to repair their image, which I think is more like the Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red's issue, is that we have to stick with this, regardless of if we were disingenuous up front or whatever. We are genuine that we need to fix this now because. I think until that moment happens to you, when you're sure, when you're sure, Hubert,
I'm
when
going
you know
in.
when you know it's the one, you have that moment. You're like, all right, Cyberpunk's back. It's like then CD Projekt Red's like, great, we did it. We're back, and now we can worry about our next project. Because I don't think they can move on until they get to that moment.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we certainly can't talk No Witcher 4 or anything.
No.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't do
Please,
that.
no.
They can't. That'd be one of the worst decisions. They announced that before. Before Cyberpunk is in.
They need
in good-
like a current gen
Yeah.
version singing,
Like,
humming.
Bloodworth needs to say Cyberpunk's
Yeah.
back.
You can play it on Series X or PS5 and it works perfectly.
Cyberpunk's back. Daniel Bloodworth. If you want to play stuff that you haven't played before and you have not bought Titanfall, you have until March 1st, 2022 to do that.
Number 1 or 2?
Titanfall 1.
Oh, okay.
So
Because Respawn
yeah.
is taking the game off of digital storefronts and subscription services.
it's so funny
No
Goodbye,
campaign.
Titanfall.
that you put that date on
Remake.
it because all the conversation I've seen
Apex
is
Legends.
reacting as if it just got yanked.
Yeah, March. Yeah, that's a long time. That's a good
I
runway.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. People are talking like the game's gone.
Yeah.
Like, but
It's-
no, it's okay. So March, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer
Sure.
game, so it's
Multiplayer
like,
game. Yeah. Get your rounds in.
they don't last forever.
Yeah.
If this was Titanfall 2, it'd be
That'd be
for me,
weird.
for someone like me personally, I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
So you
What?
only got love for Titanfall 2, Damiani? There's
Well,
no
I mean,
yeah, there's a
retroactive
single
love
player
for
the
first
campaign.
there.
I don't
Yeah.
even like.
Campaign,
I haven't even touched Titanfall 2 multiplayer. It's like I just played the
Campaign.
campaign. It was fantastic. So it's like, you know what? Hopefully that remains available. If they're never going to make another Titanfall entry, and just like Apex Legends is it, they're not going to make another single player campaign. Then you know what? Titanfall 2 was a good note to go out on for a campaign, and like just make that available. If you need to remaster it, I would be opposed to Titanfall 2 remaster someday, just to make it more easily available. That doesn't have the multiplayer. Obviously, people will be upset about that, but for me, it's like I just want a way to play that game. So if it was, the story was Titanfall 2 being delisted, I'd be like,
Okay.
what's
So-
going on here?
So
we-
screw Titanfall 1 is the official stance of the Easy Allies podcast. I'm taking notes here.
Titanfall
This
2 is yeah, it's absurdly better. It's a way more complete package.
okay.
Titanfall 1 was like the prototype for Titanfall 2.
Yeah, and it like
Yeah.
like we're saying, like, it is a multiplayer only. So there's got to be some time that comes down. Like that game was on Xbox 360.
Yeah. It reminds me of Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, Jones. Like, there's no real point to play Left 4 Dead 1 because it just kind of exists in 2. You know?
Sure, that's an interesting.
It
yeah,
makes
yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
obsolete. Like, Titanfall 2 kind of makes 1 obsolete in my eyes.
Good.
Yeah.
Unless there's some crazy MLG YouTubers out there that have, like, a very specific
Right.
mechanic or gameplay meta reason.
Wave
It's like-
dashing.
Yeah,
Wave dashing.
something.
It's like
but
Quiplash 1 and Quiplash 2. You know, it's like once you do Quiplash 2, what's the point?
Yeah, from a casual player, like there's-
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do we think this has anything to do with anything coming to Apex Legends? Some kind of timing here? Like, yo, shut Titanfall 1 down. We're gonna
I mean,
finally.
they've been
I don't,
kinda-
but people
they've been
do.
ringing that bell a little bit.
Sure.
They keep
Okay.
talking like Titanfall's not done.
It's time.
Yeah,
Apex
so-
Legends, it's time.
So yeah, we'll
Ding,
definitely
ding,
see on
ding.
that.
Yeah, it's time.
I
Bell's
did
been
see.
rung.
I did see a tweet from whoever on the team is in charge of like archiving their work, and because people were like talking about preservation, and it's like, no, it's preserved. Like we've got it. There's no danger of the game getting lost. We've got everything that we need. Like, you might not have access to it, but the game is
They
preserved.
have the masters.
Yeah. I think that like there's some marketing materials and stuff they want to round up, but otherwise, like concept art and all the code, it's good.
Package is secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Donate it to a museum.
The area is secure, Ripley.
I do get Titanfall vibes from that universe for sure. Titanfall Alien crossover. When?
Let's go.
Dude, it's
Ripley
like a
skin.
Titan
and
with
that-
just the
yeah. Let's go.
Oh man.
Well, the issue with running Titanfall 1, one of the issues is that they got DDoS'd this year hard. Titanfall 1 and 2. There was an organization called Save Titanfall, which was kind of like Save Titanfall trying to bring back Titanfall Online was like the Abandoned team trying to make like a horror game. Like it's just they were so clumsy at how they did this. They like attacked Respawn, but tried to make it look like maybe someone else did, so that Respawn would like them and then give them the source code for Titanfall, so that they then could bring back Titanfall Online. And I can see Respawn being like, you know what, we're gonna go make Apex. We don't need to deal with this, this fan base
So
that just
they
is maybe a
have
little
some
crazy
meta
over
reason
Titanfall.
for loving the first game over the second.
I mean, it's hard not to look at those two things. Maybe not as like the reason they did it, but it's just this is a hard franchise for them to, considering they're having tremendous success with Apex Legends, to really look back and preserve. If it's a community that's actively attacking them. And again, it's like if you're a Titanfall fan, I'm not saying you're responsible for that. It's just it's tough.
True,
They attack.
It's a struggle.
What the heck?
I do think the one, in terms of
That is unhinged.
the reaction and the access and stuff like that. I do think that it would be good for kind of like how old Battlefield was before the whole GameSpy stuff went down. I think it would be good for developers to look for ways for the community to pick up the ball. If people want to be able to spin up servers and keep running that game to play private matches and that kind of thing.
Battlefield 2 style,
yeah.
like private hosted things.
Yeah.
Or Mist Online.
Yeah, Missed Online.
Yeah.
That's how that works, Isla?
It did for a while. Now Cyan is doing them again, I think.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I do think that when you're approaching end of life, it would be good for the industry to look for ways to make that an option for the community to take up the ball. And
I
run
love
with
that
it.
play.
Yeah.
I love that.
I wonder if they have kind of future-proofed, because we have yet to like go back to PS4 franchises. Like we had like a lot of this digging up of old PS2 and PS3 stuff, the servers going offline, the Vita, and like all these conversations about preservation. Like, hopefully we've not solved it, but gotten better at it, so that we don't run into these issues more and more.
Totally.
Unless it's Forza, of course, and that's just the thing I do.
Everyone just needs to take a more like Buddha board, like water kind of approach to time and just let things happen.
Let it happen.
Blood.
Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon
Like
City.
Bruce
Just
Lee.
let it happen.
Water
let it
becomes the
happen.
cup.
Yeah. And then it goes away. Like
Exactly.
ripples in it. You never look at
Yep.
the same part of the river twice, right?
Yeah.
You're making me think of I wanted to ask you when you would think Forza Horizon 5 would possibly be like they take the servers down, because you know how they've like done
Oh,
that in the
servers down versus delisting
Or
with
del-
Horizon is a weird
past.
thing.
Yeah, like how that would
Because they
go,
didn't
since it seems so
have-
successful. This
They
seems-
didn't have the active like players in the game until 4. But yeah, I mean, it's like what now? It's 2021, so yeah, Forza Horizon 5 will be delisted by 2026. Yeah, or in the
on the
beginning of
clock.
2026. Yeah.
Yeah.
Death date.
No, I've
So-
just been looking at because like
Day of death.
Today I noticed that like
Shinigami eyes.
But
they added an event to Forza Motorsport 7. And I'm like, you can't buy this game. and I looked at the Twitter account, and like even in the bio, it says like legacy game not for sale or
That's
something like that.
amazing.
For the fans only. That's
But
kind of
the-
hype.
And so it's this crazy thing with the car licenses. And I was wondering, like, well, GT hasn't had this problem, right? But I looked and like No, GT6 was like delisted somewhere about 4 to 5 years after it came out.
Shit.
GT5.
And they're all
about the
racing
same
games,
way.
man. The clock is on.
Yeah.
And Forza Horizon 5 loves timers and stuff. They should have a 4-year timer. It's just up in the corner the whole time.
Yes.
That'd
You
be
boot up the
so
game. Oh,
funny.
shit, I got a year left.
Race against the D-list.
Gotta
You
get
know what
my-
this? You know what
But-
this does?
Let's go back to Mexico.
You know what this does is just make Game Pass an even more incredible value.
Incredible.
Because
Really.
you're not paying for this game that's going to go away in 3 years.
Incredible.
It's not news, though, you know?
But
It's not news.
But with Motorsport, they are still doing online events and stuff. So I don't know how, again, like how long they actually keep servers running is a different situation than how long they sell it. But it's weird.
Funny that the legal thing just applies to selling it. It's like you can't sell this anymore, but you can still keep it running and have people playing it. And
Yeah,
whatever.
well, actually,
Package it and sell it.
The legality of it actually protects people that have bought it. You know, it's like
Oh yeah.
you know, that's like even the Wii Shop, like even though they've shut all that stuff down, you can still download your purchases until who knows when. So
Huh.
You think he hit the table on every take? Or do you think that was a little extra Goldblum fierceness for that one? Ooh, they got a little excited. And
Maybe
you're
that
packing it,
one,
and
yeah.
you're selling it.
It was
The
like his
timing of
40th
it is
take.
so
He's
good.
finally upset.
I always wonder, yeah, to bring a little something
Oh,
else.
go
that
again.
time. Yeah.
Go again. And don't buy.
Fun movie thing. If you ever see a movie and somebody's eating, they had a rough day.
Yeah, that's a bad day.
If you ever see this is a good meal, that day sucked. Because 20 takes, you know, another baked potato.
wasn't there some show recently where everyone was talking about they just filmed the actor just cooking like a whole thing? Just a couple months ago, I remember people talking about this scene.
That's funny.
I can't remember what it
I
was.
wish I knew, Blood Earth. I'm letting you down.
Also this week, the Adobe Digital Economy Index is reporting that the Xbox Series S won Black Friday. Why? Because you
Whoa.
can't buy anything else. You
Can't
can't
buy
buy a
anything else.
Series X. You
Can't
can't
buy
buy a
anything else, sure.
PlayStation 5. No Steam Deck. No OLED.
I never thought of that.
Gone.
I was thinking because
It's speculating.
Halo
but
and Forza on Game Pass too. It's just you
get incredible
that.
value.
You get the incredible value. You just get that S, and you're playing Halo and Forza
What's
over the holidays.
what's really funny with
Boom.
Forza is that you can see how many copies it sold by just like once you've unlocked the Hall of Fame, because you go to that leaderboard and you see like
Every player.
1% of however like 11 million now. It's like 11.8 million or something yesterday when I was at it.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Wait, so what is it? The leaderboards?
It's the Hall of Fame leaderboard.
Are you in the Hall of
specifically.
Fame?
Well, it's like when you get to a certain number of accolades, you just like it's a thing that
puts
unlocks.
you
It's
in,
like the
okay.
last set of challenges.
Got it.
Yeah,
Are
but
you
then
in?
you can drive over
Sounds
to
like a
that
no.
leaderboard
Yeah,
and
sounds
see
like a
where
no.
you're at. So I'm like
Deflecting.
80 something out of the 11 million.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it says I'm
Damn.
top 1%.
Damn, Bloodware, that's sick.
But that's only
Racing guy.
accolades.
Yeah.
So that's just like checking off all the boxes of what to do in the game.
That's
Yeah.
part of the game, though. That's sick.
So I've got like 500,000 accolades, and Jones has got like 100,000.
He's tracking me.
Yeah.
Sniffing.
That's tight. That's tight.
Sniffing my accolade
I love
count.
it. I love it. Yo, do
Um,
you still need me for arcade mode?
Yeah, anytime.
Dude,
Anytime.
anytime. Okay.
I
Text
hope
me.
to see some of you online in
Yeah.
that over the holidays for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
God, that game's fun. Or as Milo likes to call it, watch cars. People are already cheating in Halo, and it's because of that gosh darn PC. And Series X and brand new Series S owners from Black Friday are like, can we turn off crossplay, please? Can we maybe have that as an option where I can just say
Right.
goodbye to all these people? Be interesting to see what they do. In reaction to that, California's state treasurer and state treasurers from 5 other states are threatening Activision Blizzard because it's the fun thing to do in 2021. Threatening some legal action. State treasurers
Threatening legal action when they're already in multiple lawsuits is hilarious.
just get in line, get in line. State
Yeah,
They're
treasurers.
First
gonna
time.
make their house more on fire.
Maybe this will be the one that makes them snap.
Now, state treasurers, California might be invested in Activision Blizzard, literally, might have money in the company, and so that's why they're like, hey. So it's kind of like their stockholders and coming at them. But what power do state treasurers have? I don't know. Next year will be fun. Nintendo revealed internal stats showing a lack of diversity and a pledge to do better. Apparently, less than 5% of managers are women, or there was just a lot of
Yeah. I didn't actually
that
see
they themselves
the
made
full
public.
statement, but I just the headline struck me as interesting because, to me, historically, Nintendo has been a company that actually has had a lot of women sort of in the forefront on camera, and Perrin Kaplan back in the day, Gil Tilden, Reiko Ninamiya on the localization team.
good name drops.
There's been
Dunaway.
some Animal Crossing designers and stuff, and Iwata asks.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that they've taken this moment with all the Activision and all that stuff going on to sort of be like, let's look at ourselves.
Yeah.
And let's see where we need to improve. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's funny. Nintendo's super private, and then we'll make a huge reveal of just like financials or something, or like some old tape or some something from history. Isla, sorry, what?
That's cool.
Oh, I was just curious about Activision stock for this year, and it peaked at $103 in February and is now at 57. So yeah, not great.
Ooh.
Wow.
Still people hanging on though. I believe.
I don't.
If you get a patch. The GTA Definitive Edition got a patch right away, but then got a bigger one this last week that fixed 100+ bugs.
Stoked.
It's a fun list to read.
Such good timing. I have like 10 missions left in 3.
Absolutely horrible timing. I got credits on San Andreas the night before, but I'm playing Vice City now, and it's a lot of fun. Vice City's so different. It's crazy to go back in time, and I've never done that before. Pokemon Diamond Pearl's got a ton of glitches, duplication, event skipping. There's some event that hasn't happened yet, and they're like, got it, got the Pokemon.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
thanks.
Nintendo. They're not perfect either.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Season 2 of Aliens Fireteam Elite called Point Defense launches on December 14th. That's all I got for you. I don't know. More stuff,
It's
but you know.
Generic name.
It
I
just
didn't see
feels
new
like a little
maps.
too little, too late
Yeah,
kind of
of
thing.
course.
It's a new mode mostly, yeah.
A new mode. I didn't see a new like mission, Jones. That would have been like kind of get me back in.
Jump Force is on sale for $6.
Before it goes
This is
bye-bye.
the Jump Force that's
Just
still
getting
going bye bye.
delisted
Yeah,
in a couple months.
going the way of Titanfall in August.
Capitalize.
So if you want that on sale there. Sting is going to perform what could have been from Arcane at the Game Awards. Arcane being the Netflix
And
show.
Imagine
for League of
Dragons
Legends.
now too.
Thank goodness.
Also from Arcane.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if
do
they
you-
also play a song from that show.
Can I ask you? Do you guys like Imagine Dragons?
Here's the thing. I don't
really
even
wanna-
I don't
know
hate
whether I
Imagine
like
Dragons.
Imagine
Spoil
Dragons.
something.
It's just become this weird meme because it
I know.
feels
Are you
like
gonna be
Jeff
working
is
with Imagine
obsessed with
Dragons?
them.
No.
Jeff.
Oh
is
yeah,
obsessed
no, I
with
know,
them.
You know what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Isla will love that joke.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't want to spoil it.
In popular
In what?
entertainment, there was a good Imagine Dragons joke this
Yes.
week. In something.
What? I just have to watch everything.
You gotta watch everything.
Watch everything.
I think it's on your list.
Was it? You can tell me what
Why-
show it's in.
I'm gonna beep that out of this show. It's my podcast. I'm beeping that. What you just at all. Beeping it all. I'm beeping it all, and I'm putting it at the end of the podcast
Curb Your
before the
Enthusiasm.
credits.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Was it that one?
Frasier.
No.
Damn it.
Matt DeRock beat 4 different Resident Evil games a total of 10 times without taking a single hit. 10 in a row, all at once on a stream.
Not
There's
even
like
on
a
the
check mark
stairs?
right next to him. And it's like 4 games 10 times because it's like, I couldn't even tell. It was like Claire A.O. and Claire A.S. I think there were like different versions of like, it wasn't, he didn't only just split up RE2. He like did different, there was like Chris RE1 and then like a whole different Chris RE1 run he could do. Or something. I don't know. But he did it all.
Maybe
Can't get grabbed on the
difficulties and
stairs.
stuff.
Can't
Yeah.
go
Can't
downstairs.
get grab stairs.
Number 10, the very last game he played,
Village?
Code Veronica.
Could it
Nice.
be original and then?
Yeah.
Code Veronica's the hardest
It was
one.
it was original 2,
Remake?
3, and 4 and or sorry, original 2, 3 and Code Veronica in just various versions.
Code Veronica's the toughest, I feel like.
Moss 2 scheduled for spring of 2022. Moss 1 is fantastic. Just if you enjoy fantasy themed platformers, it's one you get to live in while you're playing it. It's very fun. Only
Yeah,
work
VR. Yeah.
only works in VR is it's something you should check out there. I was almost going to get into this, and then I was reading up on it. And I'm like, I am not prepared. EVE Online players, EVE Online just added a new thing called New Dawn, and they had a blog post, and EVE Online players rioted because they can in EVE Online. Because it's one thing if you like Steam review, you like do bad Steam reviews, or you get into the forums or something, or you go after a PR person. Nope, they went in and fired all their weapons at a thing they knew they couldn't destroy just because they were angry for like days.
I love it. When
firing
Eva-
You would literally
happening.
You would literally go to a spot where these guys and that like they're burning dollars because you got to buy
Yeah,
you got to buy all those
Oh my
ships, you got to buy all
gosh.
that gas, you got to buy all those armaments.
Making a political
And so they're literally
statement.
dumping
I
all
would
of their
rather
stuff
die
on in view of the developers.
And accept help from you.
See, that's what I'm saying. Don't hack Respawn. do theatrics like
Yeah,
that. You know what I
that's
mean? Like
theatrical.
send a message.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's
I
the
love
thing.
it. Such
Wow.
a fascinating
Facebook
game.
changing their name to Meta and talking about the metaverse, and they have no idea.
That this stuff's already
EVE
happening. Yeah.
Online, it already exists.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I know neither of these people listen to this podcast, but my brother and the father of my godchildren, who I love so much, way into NFTs, and they were both trying to sell me about NFTs for gaming.
Oh, no.
And they were explaining to me things that have been in gaming for 10, 15, 20 years. You know, they were like, "What if you owned a thing?" And I'm like, "I do." Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, it's interesting perspective on
love-
these big franchises.
As a former player of interactive spreadsheet EVE Online, and I love it to pieces. I love
Shout out
that
to Rob
game.
Slusser.
I love the theatrics of EVE. I love the
yeah.
wars. I love the stuff because it's all driven by the real in-game market.
Yeah.
Ah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It is the. I honestly think it is the greatest gaming economy. You talk about economy all the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
This is.
Oh, the economy is absurd in that.
The
yeah.
yeah,
Spice.
they have no control over.
Yeah.
It. Like they can't realm reborn this. Like EVE Online is what it is.
Yeah, I was hoping New World was going to go that way, Jones, and the players have just.
Well, the
I mean,
bots
we'll
are-
see.
The
Yeah,
bots are
yeah.
destroying
bots are farming
it.
faster than
Yeah.
anybody can do anything.
Because I
in that
liked
game.
the headline where the guild leaders were having their guilds donate to the coffers, taking it and then bouncing. That is like so malicious.
It's a weird system that runs that game.
Damn it! Now I'm looking at EVE Online again. I get sucked back into EVE Online like once every 8 years.
Did Eve respond to this? Did they
I
say
mean, they
anything?
will. I mean,
Okay.
well, I mean, it's their new Dawn is a thing they're rolling out, and
Yeah.
so they're not going to cancel it. So it's just we'll see how long they're going to keep firing at these indestructible statues or whatever.
Yeah, what is it doing that they're so angry about?
I was attempting
I
to
know,
explain
I
it
know.
on this podcast, and I realized there's no
I
way.
want to get one of them like on an interview. Be
No,
like,
I know.
"All right,
Yeah.
explain what's wrong.
What is
Link me the
happening?"
video right now, the
Yeah.
YouTube video from one of
Yeah.
the EVE influencers explaining that breakdown.
Yeah.
For me.
I
What
need to
year
know.
is it? Kings of Amalur Re-Reckoning is getting DLC on December 14th called
What?
Fate Sworn.
What?
Grant Kirkhope wrote new music for
Yeah.
it.
What the
How did this
hell?
It's amazing.
What the hell?
How?
Damn, that takes.
I never played that game, but it's like, all right, I guess if I ever do, there's
GT's
more of it
first
to play.
stream.
And Tim Payne, the Australian cricket captain, was removed from Cricket 22's cover over a dick pic.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the cover?
I wish. Because you know that can only help sales of Cricket 22. But it happens all the time because players leave teams and they're like, well, we can't show them in that jersey because we got to swap out the player or give you new graphics or something. This is the first time that somebody has sent a picture of his junk and then been taken off a sports cover of a sports game. So kudos to Tim Payne for breaking records.
Funny, it's like cricket.
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 Let's play a game. You were ready, I know.
ready
You were
for
ready.
that time.
You can see me prepping from Shoulder Guy. Here's a game in honor of the upcoming Game Awards. And shout out to Shoulder Guy who posted this last week. And I was like, this is so perfect for next week. Let's do
got
it
it.
next week. I went to gotypicks.blogspot.com, a website that tracks GOTY winners from media outlets. I picked 3 games.
Blogspot?
I picked 3 games from a given year. So these aren't necessarily the biggest games. These are just 3 games against each other. You need to select which one of the 3 games received the most GOTY awards. Love and respect, Shoulder Guy. And we're bouncing around. We're not doing every year in order.
Okay.
Kicking it up
This is from any outlet?
for any outlet, anyone that
Okay,
gave
okay,
Game of the Word.
okay.
And none of these are 0. So if I'm saying a
Okay.
name, someone gave it. At least one outlet gave it Game of the Year.
So there's a chance.
Sam, there's a chance.
telling me there's a
These were given to us not in chronological order, but I have shuffled them into that. Starting in 2008, Gears of War 2, Dead Space, or Little Big Planet.
Little
Gears
Big
of War
Planet.
2.
Which got the most? is
Which
what
got
we're
the
trying to
most
do?
Little
goodies.
Big.
Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet.
True. 24 to Dead Space's 1. I'm curious what outlet that
What?
was.
Yeah.
And 8 for Gears of War 2.
Wow.
2010.
Wait, Gears of War
Gears of War 2.
2. Okay. It's like that didn't come out the same year as Dead Space. Okay, got it.
2010. Mass Effect 2, Red Dead Redemption, or Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Super
Ooh.
Mario Galaxy,
Galaxy
2.
Galaxy
Red Dead
2.
Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption crushed Galaxy 2.
Oh.
I wanted to believe. That's all. I
Super
wanted
Mario
to
Galaxy got
believe.
19. Super Mario Galaxy 2 got 19.
Oh, it's
Mass
Galaxy
Effect 2.
2.
Mass
That's
Effect
why
Galaxy 2.
everyone's like, oh, it's more of the same. Huh.
As compared to Red Dead.
Guaranteed.
Mass Effect 2 got
Guaranteed.
101. Red Dead Redemption got 111.
Yeah.
Wow.
111.
I actually thought Mass Effect 2 was the real winner, but
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, same shit.
Tough year.
ME2 is
three.
amazing.
But I want to pick
Gnarly.
Galaxy 2 in my heart.
2011, Batman Arkham
Flawless.
City, Portal 2, or Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception.
Portal 2.
Portal 2.
please.
What was
Probably
the first
not
one?
Portal.
Arkham City, Portal 2, or Uncharted 3.
Probably
Arkham City.
Portal 2.
Portal 2, 58.
Yes.
Damn.
Arkham City behind with 40, and Drake's Deception in third with 20.
Portal 2 so good.
2012, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Halo 4, or Xenoblade Chronicles.
Black Ops.
Black Ops. Wait, sorry, same again?
Black Ops 2,
Black Ops
Halo
2.
4,
Black Ops 2.
Black
or
Ops
Xenoblade
2.
Chronicles.
I guess Black Ops 2. None of those make sense to me, but okay.
None of those
Xenoblade?
make sense. Halo 4 out of
What?
those
Okay.
three
All right.
with
I-
20.
I was like, I have a 50-50 because it was not Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't that. No
Oh,
way.
is that
Although
one bad?
Black Ops 2 got 4 and Xenoblade got 2, so only 2 more than Xenoblade got.
Wow.
2014, Alien Isolation,
Oh, jeez.
Bayonetta 2, or Destiny.
Oh, God.
Destiny.
Whoa.
Alien Isolation, Bayonetta 2,
Destiny.
or Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny. Even though I want to say Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2.
I want to say I'm going to say Destiny.
Alien
Is it Alien?
Isolation.
Wow.
With 23, Bayonetta just behind with 22, Destiny with 13.
23 people gave Alien Isolation Game of the Year.
Game of the Year.
Wow.
Over Bayonetta 2.
Sick.
Wow.
PC Gamer is one of them.
PC.
Your little point.
2015, Bloodborne, Fallout 4,
Whoa.
and Metal Gear Solid
was
5.
that?
He
Come
hates
on now.
Bloodborne.
Oh yeah,
'cause he's a
I
little baby.
I mean-
yeah. The
Bloodborne?
3 full playthroughs I did of Bloodborne were just excruciating.
Yeah.
I was just hating on it the
Hate
whole
playing
time.
Bloodborne.
Gothic
Bloodborne?
horror sucks.
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 5.
Bloodborne, Fallout 4, or MGS 5.
Bloodborne.
It's gotta be-
Bloodborne.
It's Fallout or Bloodborne, yeah. But I think Bloodborne.
Fallout 4,
What?
58.
Damn it!
Wait.
Bloodborne
What?
got 31.
People
What?
loved Fallout
31
4.
to Fallout 4's 58.
It was huge.
with
What?
MGS 5 29,
What?
creeping up on
Because
Bloodborne.
you have to understand.
What?
You have to understand.
Bloodborne
Even at the time of
31.
Bloodborne, even at the time of
Fallout 4 is
Bloodborne,
58.
6 years ago, while Souls games were getting even more and more popular, I think it peaked shortly after Bloodborne.
yeah, right after
Like
that.
too many mainstream people, I think, would pick like a Fallout over Bloodborne still.
Also,
but looking back,
Bloodborne
that would not
was
be how
earlier
it
in the
would
year, right? Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, they
Fallout was
forgot.
the end.
They forgot about a
Damn, I mean, back.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
Fallout
2016.
4 got me into Fallout, actually.
What a
I didn't
weird
like the
year,
other one.
2016.
Did it get you back out too?
I liked 4, actually. It's my favorite one.
Play New Vegas.
I did. It's horrendous on console.
Oh well, yeah.
Broken.
Really?
Good to know.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to play New Vegas.
Even with like the FPS boost and all that on Series X and all that?
This was when it came out. I bet it's way better now.
Oh, yeah. No,
No.
that was that was
Yeah.
their
It's one of the most broken games I had ever played.
yeah, that was kind of like the issue, right? Like anytime that Obsidian would try to, make a sequel to one of Bethesda's games,
Yeah.
like, well,
Hope it works.
we've got a really great storyline, but your engine is crap, so we're having a hard time here.
Yeah.
That engine is not good.
2016, a very strange year. Final Fantasy 15, Inside, all caps, or The Last Guardian.
Wow.
Oh,
Inside.
Inside.
Oh,
Inside,
yeah.
easy.
Final Fantasy.
Inside's
15.
winning.
Inside easy, you say, Daniel
Inside,
Bloodworth?
it's winning all those like interactive media, blah blah blah.
Fantasy
with
But
the-
this is pure
15?
game of the year or just
Game of the Year.
any award?
Final
Game of the year.
Fantasy 15.
Y'all are wrong. Last Guardian with
I've
15
never been so
goaties.
happy to be
Wow.
wrong.
Inside right behind it with 12. 15 got 9 goaties, 9.
Boo.
Great.
2017, Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, or PUBG.
Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild.
Persona 5 got 10, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds got 10, Breath of the Wild got 189.
It's one of the most celebrated
Close.
games of all time.
PUBG is such a weird one too because of all the early access and
Yeah.
it's like when would people have considered it? Yeah.
PUBG.
2019, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, or Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro.
Might be Sekiro
Sekiro.
or RE2 actually.
What's the first one again?
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
These are all good, dude.
Yeah.
These are good games.
I'll
2019
say
was good.
Death Stranding.
I'll say Death Stranding.
Ding, ding, ding. 80. Resident Evil 2, 79.
Oh.
Dude, I loved that game. That's a lot of
How many
goaties.
Sekiro?
RE2, it's a lot of goaties.
How many Sekiro?
59.
Hey, high, yeah.
Hard game.
Yeah.
Hard game.
Hard game. I get it.
Hard game.
Frustrating.
And finally, 2020, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Cyberpunk 2077, or Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Remake,
Remake.
baby.
What was the first one?
New
Animal
Horizons.
Crossing.
It could be Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Could be.
It could be Animal Crossing.
Animal
Could
Crossing,
be.
Cyberpunk, or 7 Remake?
Half-Life
Animal-
Alex
Animal
isn't
I'll go to
on this
Animal
list?
Crossing, but I really think it could be
Animal
7 as well.
Crossing.
Where's Half-Life Alex?
It's just
Animal-
these 3 games, man.
It's,
You just
yeah,
pick
it's
3.
not the top.
Animal
You just pick
Crossing.
3. Yeah.
It's not the
Just
top.
random
Okay.
three.
I'll go with
Pick
Animal
three.
I'm
Crossing.
just curious.
Cyberpunk 2077.
What?
29 GOTYs compared to 19 for FF7 Remake and 18 for New
Wow.
Horizons.
Dude, this entire industry is a lie.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, these are, again, all you got to do is just say it's your game of the year and say your name of your outlet, and then you can make this list. So,
Oh
It
my
is.
gosh.
I know. It is now time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
From Happy Gaming. I love cilantro. In my opinion,
Same.
it's got just that special little
Love
something
it.
that can turn certain good things into great things.
God,
Pile it on.
I love
that
it.
stuff.
Oh, pile it on.
But then again, there are other people who just can't stand it.
It's genetics.
Me.
Put a little bit on anything. They say it's disgusting, tastes like soap.
It's a genetic
Yeah.
thing.
We all have our cilantros, though, especially in games. There are certain designed spices that aren't inherently bad, but I'll get a whiff of them and I go from stoked to hard out. For me, put in any form of deck building or the necessity to hoard junk and craft it into that game stew, and you'll have me running for the hills. Someone else sees that stuff, especially crafting. Someone else sees that stuff, just watches it pile higher and higher with a little smile on their face like they're watching the waiter grate cheese onto their pasta at Olive Garden. Some people love cilantro, some people can't stand it. What things can make you go from stoked to hard out the moment you see it? Or the opposite end, what can personally make you just want to pile on that flavor? What are your gaming cilantros?
Isometric view.
And you're out?
Genre.
And you're out?
Out. I knew I'd
Please
kill
play
it.
Death's Door, dude.
Here we go.
Wait, no. I actually have a really good question. I have a really good question, dude. The camera is like here instead of here, dude. A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
How is it?
Zelda
How is
1.
how is the camera here versus here
would-
a hard out? Link to the Past is top
Because
down.
I'm giving it top down.
Oh.
There's no worry about movement judgment. I know exactly where I'm moving because it's top down.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
square. It's
Ah.
like moving
Right.
precise movement.
Yeah, north-south
So
is
at that
this,
angle-
it's not.
So when I'm playing, I love Hades of Death. And I get better. I got better over time. But like when you're dashing in a certain angle and like
Corners,
you
bro.
got to look at the shadow and you can't see it very well. I'm like, how did I get hit by that? Because I can't judge depth as well there. Also, I just
All right,
like,
all
and
right.
like
Hades
that's an
isn't
old
exactly
game.
what I
An
think
old
of there, but okay.
no, but I love Hades.
But like old
Yeah.
school isometric, where like
Yes.
literally like you're going at angles and your D-pad is
Yes.
straight
Yeah.
across.
That's-
Well,
yeah.
Diablo.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
tricky.
Diablo
So
2,
old school, like it's fine. Like especially when it's top down like that, Huber.
Yeah.
But like modern games, I like. Do you make these beautiful worlds? Let me rotate the damn camera in them and look at them.
I get it. I
It's
get it.
immersion, man.
Well, that's
It's
why.
like fixed cameras though, dude. They like to
Damiani-
frame the.
but that's old school. And like you know what? I'm okay when it's an option. Like RE5 DLC when they let you have the Lost in Nightmare where you could
That
pick
was
fixed camera. Like that's the way to do it. Like give me that.
Damiani, what about isometric view on a point and click, like on old PC Diablo or Fallout? Or
Oh, I hate
whatever?
that.
XCOM, man.
Or XCOM, yeah.
Nope.
Please
No
give
movement
Death's Door a
problems.
try. Please give it a try.
I will.
begging
I
you.
will. I will. It's
one of my
it's,
favorite
it's,
games.
It's not a death sentence.
Okay,
Like
okay,
we're
okay.
exaggerating. We're having a little bit. Having a little bit of fun here.
Okay.
You have it a loft.
But man, I never knew about like the cilantro spice thing. Sorry to like.
It's
real
a
tangent.
genetic thing,
Because
yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
cilantro on
Yeah.
most things.
Cilantro tastes
But I
like
love
ass
this
to me.
thing at a salad place by me that it's cilantro chicken salad. I love it. I love the cilantro dressing. And it's like, but I hate like cilantro on sandwiches and shit. It's weird.
It's probably a different. That's probably a different thing than the because like
Probably, yeah.
There's a
because
there's
it
a
literally tastes like soap.
there's a
to people.
funny joke that it's elitists people. They have like an extra genetic thing or something. So they say
Watch
they're
this.
no, I'm serious. So they say if you like cilantro, you're technically genetically superior. I'm not even joking. It's like a whole big thing. Look into it. I swear to you.
I don't know if for me
Yeah.
if it tastes like soap
It's
or
crazy.
not, but I just think it's
Here,
gross.
I'll give you something about isometric view. One last thing, real quick. as much as I love Super Mario RPG, if there's one thing I've ever changed about it, would be that.
Yeah.
Let me rotate. I can't move the camera. And shit. I mean, the
funny.
literally sprite work. There is nothing else to see. But like, man, that's the one thing when I do some of the platforming parts, I'm like, dude, why make me suffer?
Let's try to move away from cilantro and isometric games.
Sure,
Let's see if we
sure,
can
sure.
take this conversation a little further. What were you saying?
Bullet
Bud?
hell is mine.
There you go.
Bullet hell,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just so bad at
So
it.
that return
Yeah,
is
no, for
creeping
real.
on you.
As soon like I'll be into a game and then I'll see a boss fight where it's just bullet hell and I'll be like, oh man.
Well, what's funny is I
the
actually like, I've always really liked the idea of playing those games, but I just can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to play that, but it's
Like I was loving Returnal.
How
Like
many-
the vibe, the music, the story. I love it. I just am so bad at it.
I don't know how many times I played like the first 2.5 levels of Gradius. Never seen the
Yeah.
end of that game.
I love every genre. I'm not hard out on anything because every game uses similar things differently. So like not every isometric game is the same like
What I'm
isometric.
Michael Huber, earlier this podcast, you were saying you were hard out on any game released in November.
That's it. Yeah. Buggy games. I'm hard out now.
Okay, there you
yes,
go.
there
Yeah,
you go.
like most people.
If you
yeah.
release
Too early.
your shit buggy
Yeah.
too early, there you go. I'm out.
He's out.
Nailed it.
Okay, so bad games.
Bad games.
Yeah.
There you go.
Games that don't work.
Yeah.
Rare Huber.
Hot take.
You
If
just
I
bought Cyberpunk.
if there's hope for a patch, I'm waiting.
I will say that you are probably one of the most finicky people on frame rates. Like the most minor frame rate things will bug you.
You're also hard out on early access.
No.
You used to be.
Yeah,
No,
sometimes that works.
I don't feel like that.
To quote
Yeah.
Michael Huber, there's no darkest dungeon.
In the Darkest Dungeon, of
In
course.
the Darkest Dungeon.
Early access now, I will play like initially right away and then wait for the full release. So that's what I did with Darkest Dungeon and Rogue Legacy 2. Just wait it out.
Super really long, complicated battle systems that get harder as the game goes on. Not interested. I'm not. Every fight takes you 45 minutes. Like, that's okay. Like Xenoblade, I've kind of always wanted to get into, but I just hear it's just like, so you got to do a thing, and then they do a thing, and then you build this up, and then you do that. It's like, wow, every time, like, I don't know.
I was thinking of like something like The Last Remnant. That's why I gave up
yeah?
on that
Oh,
game
sure.
because those battles can take like an hour. It's like what?
I just like to storm
no.
through RPGs, and I
Hey, Final Fantasy 6 Pixel Remaster, Jones.
time to go again.
Sometimes I'm just hard out on Switch games because it's a hassle. If I play in
Here we go.
the
yeah.
most
There we go.
convenient
Yeah.
system on
now
the
has
planet.
more things he's hard out
It's
on.
the least convenient system for me because I don't. When I play handheld, it makes a loud rumbling noise. And I just don't like playing. I don't like playing handheld. I
Okay.
like playing on a TV.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can't plug in headphones to a Pro controller. And there's no easy way. They finally just added Bluetooth headphones to Switch.
There's a
But like playing Switch is just in my setup the most inconvenient system, which is ironic.
It's so funny.
It's so
to me,
ironic.
the headphone thing because
Yeah. You would need a USB headphone to plug it in all the way to the back.
Or plug it into your sound
no,
system.
you would just plug it into the Switch itself. You just need a long cable that costs
Yeah,
like
but-
$2, but.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a huge, I gotta buy this other thing. I
that's
gotta like
Nintendo.
have a
Welcome to- yeah.
huge wire going all the way from my system to my couch. Like
but-
what?
Sure, I mean I get that, but at the
absurd.
same time, like I have all of my systems routed into a receiver, which hilariously at this point, because I'm in an apartment, I don't use the surround sound anymore. I just plug the headphones
Yeah.
into the receiver,
Yeah.
and so every one of my systems just comes out of that same plug. So
Xbox, PlayStation, right there. Boom.
Sounds like there's
Right
a lot
into
of
the
hurdles
controller.
your average game has to go through to be enjoyed by Michael Huber. Sounds like you've got a lot of.
There's unnecessary hurdles for Switch
limitations.
games. Like it's
So just to recap,
Yeah.
you have no
Yeah.
hard outs
No hard
except
outs.
for everything
Except
on
for everything
Switch
on Switch.
and anything that comes out in November.
anything in November.
Huber, I will tell you this.
Very specific.
I had plans over the holidays because I'm gonna go big on Switch over the holidays. Shin Megami Tensei 5, Metroid
Yeah.
Dread, like, and I was GTA 3. I'm like, that's a game that never looked that great to begin with, and what I don't, my expectations aren't big for that. I'll play that on Switch. No, I can't. No. I played a little bit handheld. It's not. GTA Trilogy does not run well on Switch.
but
So.
for me, it's weird to classify as a hard out, but I definitely feel like I'm getting to that point. Is like, it really is like level creation stuff.
Oh, I'm
Like
just
I
so
like
bad at
playing
that.
other
I'm
people's
so
levels,
bad. Yeah,
but
same.
I have no
sure. I'll
play anyone's level.
interest in like.
Riders Republic. I'm like, I'm
I'll
not
play
spending a
anyone's-
second.
Yeah.
More fair ones, I think.
I'm so bad at that stuff, Bloodworth.
Dreams just got some new co-op mode or something. I was like,
Yeah,
So
with
much-
like a story.
so
right?
much stuff in there. Yeah, it's like a dungeon crawler. They just had. So cool.
I guess controversy, like controversial. I wanted to say it Britishly, controversy or whatever. Like creators or whatever who are like, just I'll be out on those too. I guess that's another hard out.
From Brandon K. Gann, we're 1 week away from the Game Awards, and typically the show has its biggest moments at the very start of the main show, and at the end with the last world premiere and GOTY is awarded. Sephiroth and Smash, Perfect Dark, and the next Mass Effect were hallmarks last year. Xbox Series X's debut took the headlines from 2019. That was fun. And in 2018, the at the time three faces of the major companies opened the show. So panel, what could be on the same caliber as these moments that we might be able to see? Any hopes or expectations from any announcements from the show?
Oh well, we'll get the Mario game that ties into the Mario movie and stars Chris Pratt.
Oh my
What?
god.
Wait, is that real or are you just
But it'll be
making this
mobile.
up?
We'll find out if it's
All
real
right,
next
Blood,
week.
President
Oh my
Nintendo
God.
Blood over here. Okay.
It's a
what are you doing?
It's a it's like an app that turns you into the Chris Pratt version of Mario.
I think the Chris Pratt is like
Instagram.
the icing that probably won't happen, but I do think there's a fair chance they're gonna announce a game
Keeley
At
called
some
Chris
point
Pratt, and Chris Pratt was like,
that ties into that movie.
Will Imagine Dragons and Sting play together?
Probably.
Like group up?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
Sting will
fun,
be
though.
in that building for 40 minutes.
Yeah, he'll be late. He'll walk on stage drunk.
I don't really know, other than the usual, pie in the sky game reveals.
Village DLC, maybe seems like a good time.
Village
Yeah,
DLC.
because
Kojima teasing something.
the cool 3-person gimmick has been done, so I can't unless he does it again because I love that. Like I love getting all those people out there together.
Oh yeah. No, I think Village DLC. That's the other. I
Yeah.
put that Twitter thing. Like, we're gonna get a Dimitrescu backstory.
Yeah.
Play as her.
Yeah, I don't know.
What crazy what world event will Kojima talk about for 5 straight minutes, like the Spanish Inquisition or something? He'll
Right.
go deep on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the assassination of Napoleon.
Goes
Yeah,
off for
yeah.
8
Franz
minutes about
Ferdinand, yeah.
Joan of Arc.
Yeah, but Joan of Arc.
Right.
And then he'll just be like,
Here
I'm
we-
excited to create. And we'll be like, okay.
Opening next week's podcast. So Joan of Arc, I guess, is a thing, From Michael. Nope. What?
No, we didn't really give a good one. I don't know. I guess
Well,
Joan
who
of Arc.
knows? It's a
mean,
hard thing. I mean,
Elden Ring
this could
stuff?
be a headline we could talk about this week,
Yeah.
but it's it's such a grab bag.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict. It's not just
Yeah.
one publisher. It's not
Sure.
just.
It takes 2 DLC because Joseph Ferris has to announce something.
Yeah.
He could tease another game too. I think.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that his studio's building up for sure.
They're yeah.
Just be up there for an award.
DLC would be weird for that game. Maybe just
They're
functionality,
pretty- they seem
ways
pretty
to access
quick.
stuff, maybe. Or
They seem pretty quick, those guys.
from Michael, has trolling ever caused you to quit playing a game?
Yes.
Specifically, teabagging, which can be found in every multiplayer game with a crouch button. For myself, I've definitely felt repulsed by games where I've experienced teabagging. Halo, Dead by Daylight, Super Smash Brothers, to name a few.
Smash Brothers.
If you
got
can
taunts
crouch,
in it.
yeah, it just feels less like a game at that point, more like something hostile. It's a bind because that reaction is the desired effect by the players who teabag. What do you think?
This reminds me of those. Have you or a loved one suffered from mesothelioma?
Have
Have you or a loved
Never
one
been
been a victim of teabagging?
Oh my god, I hear those.
Has
commercials every
somebody
time.
digitally
I
tried to
really
put their
haven't that
testicles
much.
on your cords?
But
Call
I don't play a ton of that
Mario
stuff,
Mario.
anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
But you know of what I speak.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, what's funny is it's
Well, not just
some-
teabagging specific. Is there a behavior that you're like, I can't? That's it. Beyond the obvious toxicity.
I mean, racist yelling
Right,
or
obvious,
in the chat, typing that stuff is okay.
I do feel
Let's
like
get out of here.
the console manufacturers. I mean, it's a little bit easier on PlayStation now, but I think they make it too hard to figure out how to just I don't want to hear anybody.
Yeah.
I just don't want to hear
Yeah.
anybody.
Like
I don't want to
ever.
go into profile and mute individual people. I don't want to hear anybody.
It's better now. I feel like Call of Duty asks you to set it up right in the beginning, and it's
But still,
voice
it's
chat?
a game by game thing.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it's there's just been times when I've popped in. It's just turn the mics off.
It's
yeah.
There's an option now where for Call of Duty, I was like, oh, that's nice, and maybe Battlefield 2, where it's like mute everyone except friends.
Sure.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
perfect
There's
setting.
that
set
workaround
it.
too, where like you create a party, and like nobody's in the party but you, so you won't hear anybody.
Yeah.
I play a lot of mobile games. I play a lot of games with ads. I play a lot of games that yell at me. That'll be like, "Hey, crystals! Hey, sale!" I have a very high tolerance for that. When you break me with pop-ups, that is saying something. When I'm playing a mobile game and I'm like, enough. I can't stop. This is just, I'm enjoying this, but you
I
can't
thought you were just talking about a news website.
stop
but
reminding
okay.
me. Yeah, could be. Yeah. Bloomberg, jeez.
I actually
Hard
like
out, Bloomberg.
I like in Fortnite because the kill cam will go to the person that killed you, and that's usually when someone does a taunt. And there's like a million taunts, so it's
Yeah.
I'm actually like into it when people do like
yeah.
they'll do funny ones. They'll do like the trombone like when they killed me. I'm like, all right, you got me, you got me.
This one's kind of more general, but like I've tried League of Legends a few times, and it's not
Yo.
it's not exactly like toxicity or
It's
whatever.
not friendly.
Though there is that, but just like poor onboarding, like where the learning curve is so steep and the crowd is so established that like
Right.
if you make any mistakes, they're like, "What are you doing? Like uninstall." Blah,
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
Well,
blah.
the gatekeepers are also the ones saying dead game, and it's like,
Right.
but you killed the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one issue I kind of ran into a lot of that was when I was starting up Dead by Daylight, and I was just, I was playing the killer a lot, and I was guarding people, and I thought that seemed like a fine strategy. I was winning matches, and I'm just getting all these like really like toxic and vulgar just like DMs on PlayStation Network like I've never seen before.
Whoa.
I was like, can't play like that. You do this and you do that, and like just like trying to give me a
can't
play.
Even though I was winning matches, I was
That's
not.
what Ben was
the
saying.
villain
That's what
that
Ben was
they're
saying.
breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Ben says there's an unwritten rule where you're not supposed to do that. It's like bad manners, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Wow, it's like bowing in
but not even
souls.
just camping.
Yeah,
but,
I was
like,
just
it
thinking
is.
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's so weird.
and like
Whoa.
not using Estes Flask.
I loved though the flip side of that. Back talking about Souls, like Souls 1 probably, like
Yeah.
when you would duel someone and bow and follow protocols, like
Yeah.
unspoken rules, no Estes, and then they would message you after and be like, "Great fight, great fight."
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved that.
I love both sides of it. I love that, and then I love when someone is just a psycho
Yeah.
and is like
like
Estes,
that
Estes, attack.
Oh yeah, in combat, yeah.
Oh,
But I like sending a message over PSN to
Yeah.
someone who you just dueled.
That's really
was
friendly.
always kind of fun.
That's jolly.
The nice messages.
Yeah. I take Mario Party very seriously, but I won't like not.
Right.
I want to play to
Right.
win.
Right.
I won't quit.
999, baby.
Was Don's trolling? Was that pushing you to the
Yeah.
brink?
It was affecting me for sure. It was affecting me. Play how you want to play, but I was mental damage for sure.
Dude, I can't like I've known Don for years and we do things creatively all the time. To this day, I'm unclear if some of the stuff he's doing is a joke, like funhouse humor, or
Yeah.
like if he's just legitimately like
If he was trying to get in our heads, I think it
it worked.
worked.
It worked. I'm
Honestly.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss those group streams.
Incredible human being.
Time for bets. Next week's bet, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker launches roughly 6 hours from now. How many
KK
times?
Slider, sorry.
How many times?
Ah.
You see, that's a Patreon podcast
Oh
question.
shit.
And so now,
KK Slider.
anybody
out of
listening to this on a
context.
Sunday is like,
Just leave it in.
KK Slider.
how are they
What do
talking
you think
about
about
KK
KK
Slider?
Oh,
Were we talking-
Sif, dude,
Where we talk,
Sif.
where we, well, see, now you brought up two dogs. So now they
Hey.
could have, maybe they're talking about music. Maybe they're talking about
Look at
Nintendo.
Sif.
Maybe they're talking about,
Sif.
Sif.
Go to
Sif.
You nailed
patreon.com/easy allies.
but you kill Sif. Anyway.
for
Sif,
$1.
Sif,
You
you
can
don't
hear
have
that
to
question.
kill Sif. Jones, you don't have to.
Oh, no, what have I
You
done?
He can help you. She?
Sif,
It might be a she.
It's time for another playthrough, Jones?
So that Endwalker thing, it's coming. How many times will FF_XIV_EN, aka the Final Fantasy XIV English Twitter account, tweet tomorrow, starting at midnight tonight, December 3rd, 2021?
Just the word tomorrow?
This is not replies. This is not retweets. This is an original tweet from that account. Michael Heber.
14.
14.
See what I did there?
So you did.
Damiani?
Cute.
5.
Aha. Isla.
6.
Okay, Bloodworth.
I did the same thing.
Hey,
Ah.
14. Final Fantasy 14, right? Get it?
9.
Oh.
Like Final Fantasy 9.
times. 9
But
times.
that could have been a
ironically
six,
not
and
my
he just turned it
favorite.
upside down when he saw it.
I should have done 6.
Oh, that's why I
Roman
mentioned
numerals
it.
next time, Jones.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
Okay,
did
look
it?
at that.
Oh,
Look at that.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And mine had a heart, so you know.
It's really nice of you, Jones.
This week's bet. Right now,
very
I
honorable
want to know
move.
what the viewer gap is right now between Halo Infinite and Call of Duty Vanguard on Twitch.tv. The gap.
Oh, Vanguard, not Warzone.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
about to say
Vanguard, yeah.
Warzone.
Vanguard and Halo Infinite. Brad Ellis bet 40,000. Nice. It's just the paper airplane fail for Michael Huber for listeners. Michael Huber bet 47,000. Isla Hink bet 42,000. Speaking of the same bet, I also bet 40,000, tying Brad Ellis. Here we go.
All right.
Got to do some refresh and some gosh darn
Very
math.
curious about this.
Here we go. Call of Duty Vanguard is 14.4. Halo Infinite is 53.6.
Okay.
Wow.
So that is 40 something. That's
40
just
something.
that's
39.
just under
40
40. That's
something.
39.
I have a
40s.
calculator up if you want me to do
Sure,
it.
53.6. So 53,600 minus 14,400.
Give a
think it's
double
39.
winner.
39.2.
So the double
39.2.
40,000.
That's the double. Yeah, we both won. Brad Ellis and myself. So both teams win. Ooh, Brad's not here though.
Wait,
so
what was the total?
30? It was 39, and the lowest was 40. So
You
yeah.
all were really close. All of you
both
really
won.
close.
Oh, I was furthest, actually. Dang.
What did I say? 42?
You said 42.
Pretty close.
Pretty low.
Yeah, so Damiani would be in the Brad seat because he was here last, right?
Yeah. Okay. Damiani, we'll share it, but we'll get to that in a second. Bringing our scores too. Jovial Penguins 30. Go back to Batman Returns. It's nice because this might be the last time we read those scores. Feels good. Vociferous Beavers 23.
Nom, 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 nom.
We're probably doing Order Wars next week. We're probably doing that bet.
Oh,
But Blood, I had a good time. Full year with you and the team, and it was nice.
Good stuff.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Those producer credits I forgot about. You might have never heard those because the podcast is over. You're like, I'm done. Once a month at the end of the month, I read a lot of names from our multiple tiers, 250, the shout out tier, all the way down to 25, I believe, which is our podcast producer tier. So all those people at the various tiers get mentioned in their various sections, and I read all those names. What's very special, I just want to share this with our viewers that I enjoy very much, is this is like a weird monologue that I read once a month of names. And every now and then, a new name slips in there, and they do it alphabetically on Patreon now. So when those names, the name pops up there, it's like I've been doing a show for 6 years, and then all of a sudden there's a new line of dialogue that I never knew before. It throws me off, and it puts a smile on my face, because that's a new person that I didn't know that either upped their pledge to that tier or joined Easy Allies on Patreon, and it means the world to me. So the question is, will you be that person when I read the podcast producer credits at the end of December? Go to patreon.com/easyallies. Put a smile on my face if you feel like it. You know, I could read the same names. Fine. If you want to surprise old Jones here, jump in there in December, and then you will show up at the last podcast. I will not screw it up this month. The last podcast of December will have those credits on it. Those shout-outs that I mentioned. We have a new shout-out. Oh, I didn't write them down. We were doing something else for shout-outs this week, and I was paying attention to that. Who is the... what is the extra name?
Hang on.
What is the extra name?
Christian Simnak.
Yes, Simniak. There it is. I will read you last. And read you twice, because we just said it. There we go. Thank you. Shout out to Elfanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, Nick, Christian Simniak, and happy birthday, AJ Wachter. Shout out. Out. See you again.
Jones,
Christian Simniak, a name I recognize, bumping that up for the holidays for that shout out tier. for the month.
Will Logan rip someone in half at the Game Awards?
What are we doing?
I wish
Will
there was.
Logan
I
get
wish there
ripped
was
in
gore.
half at the Game
I wish there was
Awards?
gore at the Game Awards, man.
Will
Bayonetta blowing up a logo is like the most violent thing we're gonna get.
They're swearing.
Will Logan be revealed at the Game Awards?
They have
Will he
violent
speak?
things in there.
Will there be swearing and sweary?
It's rated M for mature. What are you
Will
talking
Logan
about?
speak
No,
at the Game Awards?
no, he's done. He's not. No, he's not gonna do Disney Plus MC.
No.
that
The
Wolverine,
Insomniacs
dude.
Wolverine.
Wolverine
just
game.
Wolverine
that,
game,
no,
yeah.
no. They're not even. They're not even. No, they don't.
They don't
even
have nothing.
Okay.
They even show.
They made a CG trailer without production art. That was. I don't know how they did that. I don't know how that was the first thing. Yeah.
And also no Hugh Jackman, you're saying as well.
Correct.
So Wolverine just not going to be there.
Damiani, we get to wrap up this podcast
Poor Huber.
as quickly as possible because you need to get in a car and you need to take a nap and you need to play some Final Fantasy 14. What do you want, Damiani? I'll give you 2 of these. You can do a show recommendation. You can do something that just popped in your head. Final word on anything you disagreed with or want to reiterate, or you got your trademark sign off.
Dear Lord, the choices. Do you have a video? Do you have a video mine
Dear
already?
Lord.
I don't.
Shit, I don't either.
But if you do if you do final word on something, I'll think of a video.
Sure, I'll do the final word and sign off then.
Okay. Start with your final word. I'll look up this Easy Allies on YouTube. I hear so much about.
Apologizing to isometric games. Sorry if I hurt your feelings.
Not at all.
Not all isometric games are bad. So hopefully Death's Door is all you hyped it up to be, Huber. You can talk now, Huber.
I thought you would love it. That's the whole time I was
Yeah.
playing it. I was like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
Damiani's gonna like this game. I just kept thinking of you, dude.
All right.
Kept thinking of you.
I will try.
Not wait to finish that game.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a
Is that on
chance.
Switch?
And the music, Bloodworth. I kept thinking of you.
I think it is.
I'm checking.
I think it is.
That's what are you asking if it's on?
Switch.
It's on Switch.
It's on Switch. I was on the eShop last night.
Nice.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Yep.
Play it.
So I will give it a chance. That's my final word.
Shout out to your Battlefield 2042 review, which I cut. And I'll tell you, there were whole massive, gorgeous clips of footage that I'm like, I'm done with the review. I don't need a clip from this footage. I guess maybe I'll watch it anyway. I don't know. Like, it was so much fun to watch you just bombing through that game. Yeah, it was a blast to cut. And then the script is just, it's like so many issues. Where do I start? But at the same time, you looked like you were having a very good time playing that game. Yeah. It was fun. Like when you're like, oh, this is fun. Snipers work well, and I was like, oh, there's a good sniper shot. And then like an hour and a half later, I'm like, there's a better sniper shot. That guy was running when you got him. Nice hit. So shout out to your performance and shout out to that review.
All right, a little different today. To the moon.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like they rushed the game, so I don't know. Maybe the
Hate playing Bloodborne. Auto erotica?
they're all just shooting. It was just like, "Rah!"
Hawkeye.
The Easy Allies would like to thank our Patreon podcast producers. We apologize in advance for all the ally names we are about to misspell and mispronounce. Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Nick, Edgar M. Hernandez, Walker Hope, Will Schmuck, Alex AI, Alexander Zirianov, Alexandra Reyes, Ali Cat, Beaten Down Brian, Bradley Spees, Dave Red, Discarded Digit, Douglas Chomich, Esdocal, Freya Lawson, Hayden Hargraves, Happy Gaming, Jay Shee, Jesse Blue, Jose Gutierrez, Miguel Rivas, Nicholas Johnson, Paulo Costabel, Richard G. Flowers, Robert Stoffel, Roy Sung, Sage Mode Q, Sigma, Snake24, Chum Nguyen, Valmar, Aurelien Grenier, Blue, Brandon White, Brian Kruger, Dale Sun, Gary James, G. Levin, James Vitt, Jan Tyson, Jesper Popmel Dufay, John Burns, Kroldemort, Lath, Luke Bennett, Mango, Marcel Markov, Mark J. Betters II, Matthew Holcomb, Matthew Pauling, Nathan Watkins, Oni Blackmage, Pete Shoemaker, Rob Bob Will, Robert Crouch, Sam Handrick, Stepan Hakobian, Stephen Thomason, The Banana Forklift Killer, Tom Ironman, Rack, Zachary Wingate. 44 stars, accounts payable, Adam Henry, Ahmed Al-Rashed, Alex Monaco, Alexander Irving, Andreas Risberg, Andri, Anthony Galvin, Barry, Beastmaster64, Bjornor Haraldsvik, Blake Bonsack, Breadroll Art, Brian Foster, Briscoe Davis, Brittany Fuller, Bunny Chen, C.S. Lewis, Katie Garza, Chase Caldwell, Candy Coated Thorns, Chief Uhu, Chris the Pianist, Christian Simniak, Christian Hundorf, Christoph Fatui, Christopher Santis, Clay Roberts, Cody Westley, Corey Jackson, Corey Landega, Culinary Stud, Cyberboa, Dakota Hayes, Damnable Nook, Dan Sebring, Daniel Fuchs, Daniel Wong, DanPan16, David Wilson, David Boyarski, Delisi, DF, Dimitri Zetas, Don Turner, DRD 7 of 14, Edison S. Prada Jr., Eric Maynard, Eric Tobias, Eric Gustafson, Espen Gotchman, Ethereal Ether, Faraz Rizvi, Fishflop, Forrest, From the Void, Gabriel Aberg, Glenn Olson, Gustav Strombohm, Hadi Ali, Haley Hill, Helen Y, Hitman 47, Hugo Aguilar, Isun Chor, Ian Anderson, Isaac Swanson, Jacob Lyon, Jay Aldiar, Jameson Lapine, Jana, Jason I, JC3, Jeffrey Ruchtenwald, Jeremy Ferris, Jesse Fish, Jesse Wilkeson, Jethrin, Joe Frantic, Joey Din, John Gallagher, Jojo Denko, Jordan Phillips, Joshua Vanswall, Jose Carlos Madrigal, Julius Garcia, Junya Motomura, Justin Payne, Carl Williams, Kevin Gillet, Lars Berger, Leon Keys, Lindsay Wells, Linson Wu, Liam Ahern, Luis Sabara, Lion Crown 19, Malcolm Moschette, Malianware, Manuel Thomas, Marcel Giru 17 Froelich, Marco Hernandez, Materia Addict, Matthias Clare, Matt Ferguson, Matt Karwoski, Matthew Holmes, Matthew T. Ryan, Mazrim Tame, Megadet, Megan McDonough, Michael Bisegli, Michael Clendenan, Michael Pliskin, Michelle Nubb, Miguel, Mikhail Aniel, Mike Calvi, Mike Hook 1, Mikey Mizek Novak, Masuki 211, Mither Strongbeard, Mo Grant, Monica, Morpheus, Mr. Anarchy, Nefertiti Jenkins, Nycrypt, Nevi Sun, Ulf himself, Orugachino, Pablo Rodriguez, Paul Sway, Philip Higdon, Quinn Riley, RF Switch, Rafa David, Raymond Lee, Reed Johnson, Ritz 1906, Roy Eschke, Russell Bateman, Ryan Anderson, Sam Sorensen, Samuel Copeland, Sean Cornett, Sebastian Urban, Sebastian Trier, Sid Raghunandan, Sneaky Gato, Spencer Stevens, Splontot, Stefan Hines, Strikeout NZ, Super 3D Cow, T-Beaks 15, Tense George, The Classiest Hobo, Tim Strothman, Thomas Blaze Fauchereau, Tim Mann, Tim O'Keefe, TJ Sullivan, Toasty Soul, Tom Masterman, Travis Ing, Trevor Thomas, Tristan Howard, Trizac, Tuttle, V8 Dave, V. Kira Ray, Volker Bach, Wavy Chula, Willow Pingree, Wobess, Wouter DeHaze, ZK.